All right, so now we're live. Me and my noobness, because I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. We just riffed for about 6 minutes. And then, oh my God, I can't believe it. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure this out, man. I'm still figuring it out. But I think that, when YouTubers and podcast hosts, when they fuck up, it adds a little bit to the charm of the show. Am I right?
We're not. I know we seem very professional.
Yeah,
but we're not.
Yeah, the air of expertise we exude clearly. Anyway, so what have you been up to, man? Oh, by the way, I guess I introduced myself before we went live, so I should probably do it again. I am Moss, in case you didn't know. No longer the most important person in the room, even though that's what I said 6 minutes ago, because I completely screwed the pooch on this one. But my co-host here, Huck, what have you been up to, man? How you doing?
It's just another week. It's like a blink and the week goes by.
Yeah. Hey, I hear you. Except the week goes by quickly, but the days are ever so long, and they don't seem to stop.
Awkward.
Dead air.
Dead air, Fraser. Hey, no, I had something to start us off. It's a picture, but I don't know how to share it because, I'm not the host.
Click on. Do you see the option that says present down at the bottom?
Oh yeah. All right, hold on. Give me a second. I'll pop it up. How was your week?
Pop it up.
How was your week? What were the best parts?
Dogs. It was very slow. The best parts of my week, honestly, are the parts where I am here on YouTube. Wednesday nights I stream with Jesse over at the Common Nerd, and Thursday nights I do Starfinder with Geeks and Gamers Tabletop, and those are really the best parts of my week. And then now I have Sundays with the Moss and Huck Power Hour. So I live half of my life on YouTube.
I'm glad I'm part of the best part of your week. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And while you're getting that pulled up, it seems as though we have another special guest. Probably, you might know him, you might love him, you might hate him, depends on if you've gotten divorced in the area. My buddy Cody. How you doing, buddy? You are muted, my friend. There you go. How you doing, man? What's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just got back from jiu-jitsu. Having some cashews and some water.
Cashews and water post jiu-jitsu? Oh my God. You like the air of health, my friend.
I do. Oh, you say Arab health or Arab health?
I don't know. I don't know what I said. I have the vocabulary of a 16-year-old who is on the debate team, and that's about it.
Well, I imagine Arabs like to eat nuts. I don't know if they have access to cashews.
I definitely didn't say Arab. We're cut that. Yeah, we're not gonna. Anyway, Huck, what you looking up here?
Man, hold on.
All right, Cody. Well, what have you been up to, man? How was your week?
Oh, it's pretty good. Just working and babysitting adults.
Babysitting adults. Yeah, I do. I have to con adults out of their money, so I know how it is. It's a psychological game.
I imagine Zach has the best job out of all of us. But he's
maybe the most rewarding.
Yeah. Well, what do you do for a living?
I'm in adult education. I help people get their high school educations.
Yeah, he helps. Oh, adult education.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good shit, man. I mean, you're helping people better their lives. I ruin people's lives for 48 to 60 months. That's
by the time people make it to me, they've already ruined that.
So, am I allowed to make the used car salesman jokes?
Yeah, I've introduced myself on here as a greasy car salesman.
Who's your favorite greasy car salesman in fiction? Mine would be
Danny DeVito from Matilda.
Matilda, there you go. Okay,
Yeah.
stole it.
Oh. Well, I don't know if I can't think of any other car salesmen off the top of my head that are in like movies or anything.
Fargo.
Fargo. Damn it.
Yeah. Beat you to it.
You're slow on this one, my friend.
What was his name?
Well, William H. Macy's the actor.
Yeah. But
He just
I just remember that line where it's like, "You're a liar. You're a hardcore liar. You lied to me. Stone face. I didn't want the top coat."
It has been far too long since I've seen that movie.
And I love when he gets arrested at the end and he's just like in his whitey tighties and they're like pulling him out of a window and he's just bawling.
By the way, Huck, have you watched the first season of the Fargo TV show with Martin Freeman?
Martin Freeman's in that?
Yeah.
He plays a hobbit.
Really? Snow
not in Fargo, but
Oh, he doesn't?
No, he's a normal size
person. I assumed
he
was a hobbit in that show.
He is not a real life hobbit. Hobbits don't exist. They are a figment of J.R.R. Tolkien's imagination. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Martin Freeman's a real man. That's like saying that he's Watson. He's actually.
Watson, I thought Watson was a hobbit.
Yeah, Watson's a hobbit. I don't know.
What?
But then the whole point of the remake with Cumberbatch, they got them together. They're like, "Oh, this guy's a dragon and this guy's a hobbit, and they're solving crimes."
Cumberbatch is not a dragon.
That's a good idea. Write that down.
Ooh.
Well, now the show's really lost its luster. If that's not the main plot, I've been watching it this whole time, season to season, thinking, when are they going to turn it back into a dragon? He never does. But that was the mystery.
Yeah. All right. Well, I just figured we might just jump right into the one main topic that actually Huck brought to my attention earlier this week. Let me pull this up real quick. And I'm still getting the hang of how to do this. All right. So this See News, Orange County dismisses domestic violence charges against Rick and Morty co-creator Justin Roiland. Me Too has failed yet again. Look at him. Does he look like a domestic abuser?
Is it really a Me Too movement, though? Is it more of just a guy who's a piece of shit getting what
Is he a piece of shit?
Oh my God, yes. He's terrible.
Why? How do you know?
Have you not seen the text messages that he sent these women?
Oh no, I haven't. Well, that's why I'm coming in.
I will find them and play them up for you.
Yeah, you find them because I'm kind of coming into this from like the outside perspective. I have no idea what's going on. I did not follow it. All I know is that these charges were brought forth, and then Adult Swim was like, "Yeah, fuck you. We're parting ways with you. You're no longer a part of Rick and Morty, and we're gonna recast both Rick and Morty." And I was like, "What the fuck? He hasn't been proven guilty yet."
That was the thing with me. Like, we've all had things get ruined because it turns out the person that made it or somebody involved was, a piece of shit, or they committed a crime or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I held the slimmest hope that maybe the charges will get cleared, and he really didn't do this. But I mean, they got cleared. So, but there's not like a lot of information out about it, and there hasn't been. It's been like hardly any information about what exactly he was getting charged for. Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead. I'll start reading this a little bit of this. So, the Orange County, California District Attorney's Office said Wednesday that it has dismissed domestic violence charges against Rick and Morty co-creator Justin Roiland. Quote, "We dismissed the charges today because there was insufficient evidence to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt," Kimberly Eds, a spokesperson for the district attorney's office, said in a statement. Ed said that significant additional information came to light. I'm curious as to what that is. And I kind of skimmed over this article before we started, and it doesn't really go over it, what additional information actually came to light. So I'm curious.
I imagine she was making up some of the information. I mean, either that or she recanted.
Maybe, yeah.
and they don't want to throw her under the bus and make her out to be a liar. And then you've got the people that are attacking her due to his level of fame. I mean, just a guess. That's my guess. Usually that's how those cases go with the domestic stuff. If the prosecution's main witness is basically like, yeah, I made it up, or that didn't happen the way that I said it did, then, well, there goes your case.
Right. Roland confirmed on social media that the case had been dismissed. Oh.
I have 3 cats.
You have 3
2 of them
cats?
are in this room. One of them has to be segregated because he's an aggressive asshole.
No, my 3-legged cat really bugs our older cat. She fucking hates him.
Well, good. He's got to stand up for himself.
Sorry, I got distracted.
He's got to stand up for himself because he only has 3 legs. I mean, no one's going to stand for him. He's already down one leg
until he learned how to walk on it better.
All right. Are we done with cats? Is that going to be the focal point?
I could spend this whole time talking about my 3-legged cat. I'm one of those weirdos.
Wait, you have a 3-legged cat?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Or maybe I did and I forgot.
Yeah, he was supposed to be an outside cat, but lost his leg. He lost it by he was playing with some string, and the string got tied around his leg, and we found him in the morning, and we had to take him to the vet, and his leg started rotting, and then I spent a lot of money for him to have the surgery because I could not look at my wife and child and say, "Kitty had to die."
Oh my God!
I couldn't do it either. We all pretty attached to him, but he's a little bastard. He's like one of those cats that'll scratch you, but you keep trying to play with them because they're so fucking cute.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a bit of a helicopter owner, so I'm just like, I have to keep my dog in my eyesight at all times, just about when I'm able to, because I can't afford to go to the vet and have like a giant surgery bill. No way, no fucking way. Especially like, you get some of these surgery bills are several $1,000s, and I guess there's pet insurance you could have, but no, I ain't gonna
just
carry
another
that.
insurance company to funnel all of your hard-earned money into.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Goddamn scam.
Yeah, and I work.
You know what pets are? Pets are cheap. They're everywhere. There's stray dogs. Grab stray cats.
Yeah, the ducks at the park are free.
Pets are not cheap.
The ducks at the park are free, and the globalist league don't want you to know about it.
I'm going to warn anybody out there that has pets. Hail
the Lord. Hail, my friend. Hail.
That's what the people like. What if the only good things that you see on YouTube are videos about pets?
Yeah, that's true. We're talking about Justin Roiland being a domestic abuser potentially, and apparently not. But this is Petcast.
I'm not saying he's a domestic abuser. In fact, he's probably not. Guys like him don't usually act on abuse. I mean, based on everything that I've seen come to light about this guy, he's just creepy. He's not like an abuser, but per se. I mean, these people are willingly talking to him. Like even in those text messages, I'm having trouble finding now that everything's kind of, I guess, blown under the rug. They were posted all over Reddit and Twitter for a long time. I mean, he's just weird. He says socially awkward stuff. It's very edgy. It's very, let me think. If I could give a time frame to it, early 2000s humor, which is not acceptable in the modern era. People can't, if Superbad was made today or Tropic Thunder was made today, everyone on it would be canceled. Yes. It encourages date rape. It encourages blackface, all that stuff. So he's a guy that's stuck in the past. His humor was edgy. I mean, that's why the first couple seasons of Rick and Morty were so fantastic.
Every season of Rick and Morty is fantastic.
No.
Yeah.
He was contributing significantly more to those early episodes, and it shows. But now, I mean, like based upon the stuff that I've seen come to light as far as what the other members of that show production are saying is, he wasn't even really involved. He was just a voice during the later seasons after they brought on the female writing team, which I guess rubbed him the wrong way. There was no statements expressly about him not enjoying that fact, but I mean, come on, I've watched the episodes and I know as soon as they brought on the female writing team, well, the humor kind of went downhill, but that's, besides the point. Sometimes writers just aren't funny, and changing things is sometimes bad for a property.
Sometimes things change.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty's definitely changed, like from the beginning to the end. But I mean, has something to say. I don't know. I'm coming from this because I really love Rick and Morty, and so above all else, I wanted it to just continue and go on forever because I don't like change.
He was
So
Yeah,
great at that
but
show.
I hear
Still
you,
the
but,
caliber
like,
that
now
it
he's
was.
probably definitely not going to continue with them. But I don't think it'll.
Yeah.
I think Rick and Morty's still going to be good because it wasn't just him; it was a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, but neither Rick nor Morty are going to even be voiced by Justin Roiland.
But it's
anymore.
such a fucking easy impression to do. So many people do it on the street. Like, do your Rick Sanchez. I mean, I
They'll
can't
probably
do it.
make some baseless fucking joke about it in the show about how their voices are different because Morty fucked up or something.
Yeah.
And then that'll be it.
Yeah. Speaking of Tropic Thunder, though, Cody, I think you and I were talking about this last night, but Huck, did you hear that Ben Stiller actually came out and defended that movie?
I saw that. I read that.
Yeah.
I read trash news. I it's my great shame, but I will read trash news.
Hey, trash news makes the world go round. That's what sells at the
it's
supermarket.
Horrible. It's horrible, but like I can't stop like a train wreck.
Mm-hmm. No, well, I mean, it's what you call it? It's meat and potatoes.
About Florida.
The ones about Florida.
Florida
like
has its
Florida
own,
man,
like online personality. Like there'll be like things.
Are you talking about the rapper Flo Rida?
No, like the state.
Or that woman from
that
was
lady
it Good
got
Times?
eaten by an alligator. Did you see that lady who got eaten by the 10-foot alligator? She was like 80 and walking her dog, and like you can even see a video of it right before it gets messy, where like the dog takes off and this giant freaking alligator comes out at this like old lady, and then like there's a statement from a friend said I had to watch because I couldn't do anything.
You could have turned around. You didn't have to watch. He's like, yeah, I had to watch. You know, I couldn't not watch.
Yeah. Hell, I feel bad about what Justin had to go through too. Got canceled from his show before they even figured out whether he was guilty or not.
The conspiratorial side of me thinks that perhaps it was all like a coup. Because I mean, think about the dates in which the allegations came forward. That this was actually brought into the light of the public sphere. Then all this other information just floods right behind it. Like, oh, by the way. Yeah. It's like, oh, by the way, he sends all these creepy texts. And oh, by the way, he also doesn't participate in the show anymore. And we really don't need him. I mean, I don't know whether maybe he was asking for more money and the execs are just like, pull the plug, get rid of him.
I read that surprise he wasn't getting along with Dan Harmon because Dan Harmon.
Such a nice guy, that Dan Harmon. How could he?
He's so good at getting along with the people he works with. But I don't know. I think I associate him with the show more than I do Justin Roiland.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the Channel 1, I think it was the early skits that Roiland made that kind of inspired the Rick and Morty franchise, I guess you'd call it now. They're dog shit. They're terrible. They're not funny. They're just edgy for edgy's sake. And so, yeah, maybe Harmon kind of, steered that in the right direction comedically. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the consensus based upon everything that's come out since Justin was thrown under the bus so sacrificially that he just kind of go in, make some quick jokes, draw a dick on the board, and walk out. And they'd be like, okay, well, I guess we'll work with this,
He was the manatee who grabbed the joke balls. If you get that reference from South Park.
South Park, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've been watching the new episodes of South Park too. Those are really funny.
They are actually shockingly good.
Yeah, that's another bandwagon I haven't jumped back on. I'm a terrible media consumer. Basically, the only thing I do with my free time is I just play video games. I don't really consume media anymore.
Please tell me you didn't hear that.
No, yeah, we heard it.
Okay.
So half of my conversations are basically made up of old It's Always Sunny or The Office references.
What media have you consumed lately?
I've just been playing the shit out of No Man's Sky, man.
Okay. That's a good
I'm trying to build the biggest freighter fleet of all time. And also I thought about building like a paintball course.
like if you ever like fly in first person in that game, and you can just go slowly level along a planet, and so you just watch the planetscape go beneath you.
Fuck.
Sorry, they just won't leave me alone.
Because they love you.
He's fine. He landed on his feet.
My 3-legged cat can land on his feet.
Oh my god.
You were saying though, you were trying to build the biggest fleet in No Man's Sky.
Oh yeah. Moving on from that. Yeah. Oh, that's...
What media have you been consuming, Huck?
I've started watching Archer again. I don't know if my wife is as enthused about this rewatch because of all the seasons, and I was just been only wanting to watch that.
That's a sad death.
Don't tell me what happens in the
I'm
latest
telling
episodes.
it happened in the real world. The mother died.
Oh yeah.
What was her name?
Meredith Archer.
No,
I don't know what the actress' name.
Jessica Walters.
That's who it was, Jessica Walters. Yeah, she's been phenomenal in pretty much everything that she's been in. I mean, she was phenomenal in Arrested Development too. What's a banana cost? Like $12?
Well, she was ahead of her time. I'll tell you that much. Because then,
Yeah,
I don't know how long it's going to take for it to get there, but it's not too far off from Walmart. Last time I checked.
yeah. Well, you know what? Believe it or not, eggs actually went down. Thank God. I don't know how, but I also noticed that the egg shells on the most recent batch of eggs I bought, I usually get like the boxes with like 60 eggs in them because they're cheaper that way. But the shells are just like paper thin. Like it's almost like they're giving the chickens steroids to actually get them to lay. You know,
people are weaker now than we used to be. We can't crack those hard eggs.
The conspiratorial mind that I've been led down is that Tyson, in response to all of these processing plants catching on fire at night that aren't being investigated, purchased up a bunch of feed manufacturing companies and changed the formula to include less proteins in the feed, and that has led to a reduced amount of egg production. So
I have.
No, it's
you got to laugh out of it once, and now you.
My cats have to like get right in your freaking way when you do shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like lay right on top of your head when you're trying to sleep, or like get up on your lap when you're trying to play video games. It's like they wait because deep down inside, as much as I love cats, all of them are assholes.
Yeah. My dog just sits there and stares at me and wonders, like, when am I going to give her attention? Like, stop paying attention to this box on the mantelpiece and pay attention to me. But she doesn't bug me. And if she gets too bored, she just goes outside. So I'm like, all right, see ya. I definitely don't throw her back over my head, though.
Well, you can't do that with the dog. You break it.
I know you must be strong,
Josh. She would be frail. She is frail.
Your real name. Uh-oh.
Oh, everybody knows my real name.
Heather and I have just been watching Inuyasha. Like rewatching the entire series, trying to get her into anime.
I have yet to watch Inuyasha.
I rewatched a little bit of Future Diary.
Future Diary is great.
Yeah, you showed me that one, Cody. You also showed me Rick and Morty when it came out.
Yeah, Rick and Morty used to be great.
The first one you showed me, it was that one where that fucking Mr. Jellybean molests Morty in the bathroom. It just owned me because you just didn't see things like that, and I was like really messed up that night. And you showed that to me, and I was like, Jesus Christ!
Brought back all those memories of Uncle Tom, huh?
Uncle Tom. I have an Uncle Tom, and I'll just leave it.
Does he have a cabin?
And he doesn't have a cabin.
That's where
it's more of a craftsman. It's more of a craftsman's house.
Used to play animals in Uncle Tom's cabin. Animals don't wear clothes.
Oh my God.
Do you guys remember what was the first episode of It's Always Sunny that you watched?
Ooh, the gang finds a dumpster baby.
Yes.
Still my favorite.
Yep. That's still your favorite? Oh, and I mean, it's a good one. I think that was I might have actually watched that at the same time because that was my first episode too. But my favorite is still and probably will always be Reynolds versus Reynolds' Serial Defense.
I have like my real life. I have something kind of like that, where in the morning when we take our son to school, I have to have a cup of coffee. I always make my coffee, and then I take my coffee when we go drive him to school.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my routine. Except my wife, she usually drives, so I can drink the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And if she ever hits a bump, I spill hot coffee, and I'm like, "Why did you hit that bump?" She's like, "Well, you shouldn't take, a big old mug of coffee in the car." And I said, "Like, well, I could drive with it in the car and not spill it." And it's like a thing.
Zach, I have something for you that might change your life.
What? No, we don't have a lid. Lid ruins it.
No, it's great.
Lid
And it's a
ruins
Yeti, so it stays warm.
No,
Have you
I drink
tested
it
how
fast.
long it'll stay warm for?
About an hour.
An hour.
Yeah,
Okay.
piping hot.
That's not
You
bad.
need a big lid so you can put your nose in it and smell the coffee.
I need a pretty big lid for that. Have you seen my nose?
Cody,
We're all
what
about
media have you
self-depreciating
consumed
humor.
this week? Oh wait, you already
You said Inuyasha.
Like I
Inuyasha.
said, mostly just Inuyasha. There's a lot to consume. It's like 300 some odd episodes.
Oh my
Too
God!
fucking
See,
long.
that's
Too
that
long.
right there. That right there is I'm out. Like I'm sure it's a fantastic show, but I like when it's got 300 episodes to catch up on.
I wouldn't even
I'm like,
say it's fantastic. It's not. It's okay. It's not the best anime in the world, but it's good. It's a good like introduction anime with a girlfriend. Be like, hey, this has girls in it. I assume you sometimes feel the way they feel.
Yeah.
Watch it.
I assume Attack on Titan's a little heavy for getting a girlfriend into.
Heather likes it.
I know Heather likes Attack on Titan, but that one's Attack on Titan is fucking heavy, especially this this most recent season.
I still haven't watched the new episodes.
Oh,
I can't go back and rewatch it.
don't.
I watched the first season. I liked it, but then so much time passed, and then I'm like, eh.
If it ends the same way as the manga ended, it's not worth it. It'll be like Game of Thrones. Don't fucking watch it. If they change the ending of the anime, it'll be fantastic.
But I don't know, Cody. I mean,
you don't want me to tell you how it ends, so I won't. But
no, I don't want you to tell me how it ends. But I mean, at the same time, I don't know. Do you honestly think, and tell me this honestly, do you really think that myself, having not read the manga, do you think that if they keep it canon the way that they ended it in the manga, do you think I'll like it?
I don't know. I don't know about you. You might love it.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
I hated it. How'd you feel about the outcome of World War I? Think it was a good outcome?
And not for everybody, but
yeah, exactly.
We came out on top, so I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Shit! You basically just told me the ending. You son of a bitch. I mean, you know what's gonna happen. You kind of know what's gonna happen because it's, I'm not gonna say anything else because Huck, I think you should watch it.
Yeah,
I think you would find
it like with somebody. Is the problem is I can't find somebody to sit down and watch it with, and not as fun to me.
Yeah, definitely don't watch it with your kid. Maybe your wife would like it or at least tolerate it for a little while, but not appropriate for kids.
I don't know. My kid started to watch some things with me that we wouldn't show before, and I just make sure like I'll screen an episode, I'll watch it once, and then I'll go back and show it to him. Like Trailer Park Boys, some episodes of South Park.
What about like stuff with ultra violence? Lots of blood and gore and stuff like that.
I would love it if he got really into ultra-violent, like video games and stuff.
Okay,
I don't know, because I was like that when I was a kid. That's why.
Well, yeah.
Like, what do you mean by ultra-violence? Like choking chicks and sodomy?
No,
that's violent adult content. Apparently, we're not supposed to. I to my understanding, well, we're not monetized anyway, so apparently you're not supposed to say pornography on YouTube anymore.
You can't say pornography. What do you call it?
Because apparently it gets you demonetized. You're supposed to call it like adult content or something. I don't know. Some of the other
Pornography?
cornography. Corn.
Corn.
Study of
Pornography.
taking pictures
Corn?
of corn in pleasing manners. Car?
Yeah. But no, like Attack on Titan it's super violent and super gory, and people get dismembered all the time.
I just remember
Yeah.
being a kid and playing Mortal Kombat and like watching
Yes, sir.
somebody's head get ripped off, and like that was the coolest thing. Like nothing was cooler than that.
That brings up a point I wanted to talk to you about, Zach. Or,
Oh yeah.
Huck. The
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Yeah. Continue.
the video game thing. You were talking last time about how video games are like the new medium where television is trash, movies are trash. We're moving into a time where video games are becoming the new expressive mode for people. I disagree vehemently. And the reason I say that is Katana's breast size has shrunken significantly in Mortal Kombat games.
Well, that's not why the new Mortal Kombat game sucked.
The
story
that's just one of the reasons.
Yeah.
And they took away all the best characters. You went from having like all of the characters that mattered to having like some of them, and then a bunch of ones that were just really like bad and unmemorable.
Yeah, but they changed the timeline. It kind of all messed up, back in after Armageddon, because Armageddon was okay, and then after that they did like the flashback. Raiden goes back in time.
That's why 9 was like so good, because it used all of the story material from the previous games, which was so rich. Like you wouldn't know it from the outside looking in, but like Mortal Kombat has all that great lore and world building that's just really campy and weird, but that's what sells it. But then yeah, I don't know.
It went off the rails.
Also, I was a lot better at 9.
Well, here I'll push. I won't push back on you, Cody, because I think you do have a point. But I will say there's kind of a push and pull when it comes to the video game medium, because did either of you hear about Fortnite's creative mode using Unreal Engine 5? Have either of you heard of this? No?
Mm-mm.
So basically, it takes the Fortnite, I guess it takes like Fortnite assets used in Unreal Engine 5 and gives individuals power to create their own stuff. So like here, I've got a trailer pulled up here. That way you can kind of see what's going on. I won't play the audio because I don't know if it's going to do anything with copyrights and all that stuff. But basically, yeah, I mean, they give you the tools to build all of this stuff and basically create your own games and narratives and all that good stuff.
Dude, that's really fucking
That's
cool.
interesting.
Yeah. So I had downloaded Unreal Engine on my PC a while ago and kind of started working with it a little bit. I'm not super tech savvy, so I didn't go very far with it. But I mean, they make a lot of these tools for people to create their own shit. And we're seeing, especially on like PC. PC is kind of the main thing. It's with like Steam and all that stuff. You'll see all kinds of independent mediums. There's a game called Stray, which have you guys heard of that one?
The cat
I've
game.
heard of that one.
Yeah,
That one
Yeah, the
looks
cat
real
game.
Fun.
It's fun, man. And it's just you're just running around as a cat trying to avoid these little mouse things that eat metal and kill you and stuff like that. But I mean, I believe that was just a very, very small team of independent video game programmers that.
Do you know what game
made
I've
that.
been playing a lot of lately? Is Baldur's Gate. The
The
first
first one?
Enhanced edition. But
Mhm.
I have it for the PlayStation, and I've been playing the frunk out of it.
Yeah, that's another one I have yet to sink my time into. Those what's the gaming genre for that? CRPGs?
It's like a isometric.
Yeah.
It's like real-time strategy RPG that uses second edition Dungeons and Dragons rules as like the basis of the gameplay mechanics.
Yeah. I love that. I love those kinds of games.
The graphics are so beautiful and simple that it's
Beautiful.
because all it is just like a map That's an isometric map, and then your the sprite, the little thing that has like 3 different animations that makes it look like it's moving. You move around, and it's like less is more because you just make your like classic D&D characters. I made like this monk and lawful good monk, and I've just been leveling up him and all the other companions that I find, and like you form a team. You have like 6. And it's just really, it's high learning curve. So it takes a while to learn the rules, but like it'll suck you in and you'll play and replay over and over again.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Diablo?
Yeah. The Diablo is more of a button masher, but I played.
It sounds like I've never played it, but it sounds similar to Diablo.
No, I think a lot more strategy.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Baldur's Gate. I've only played Baldur's Gate 3, which is phenomenal, but it's turn-based, and Baldur's Gate 1 is similar in that respect, correct? It's just turn-based combat and stuff. Oh, it's not?
No, real live, like real time. Like you pause and unpause the game. Like you pause the game.
So like
you tell
Dragon Age.
Your little people, yeah, like Dragon Age.
Okay.
Which is kind of like a successor.
Okay.
From the BioWare, I think.
I'm into that.
It's like Dragon Age, but you get more companions, and the magic's really cool. I don't know. I made up some like monk name, like Frau Aura. Super nerdy. And I'm a good guy, so I always sleep in the lowest rating of the inns. And I just have my fist. I don't fight with weapons. Except now that my fists do as much damage as like a 2-handed sword, and I get like 3 attacks per round. It's pretty badass.
Yeah. Oh, what's up? What's up? Good to see you, Jim and Christine.
What's up, bro?
You mentioned you can pause the game, Zach. Speaking of pausing, have either of you guys heard about that AI that they programmed to constantly survive as long as it possibly could at Tetris?
Yeah.
And it just paused the game. It's like paused it. Yeah.
It just paused it.
Yeah, it'll survive forever. It won't lose. It's like, God, how the fuck did a computer figure that out? That's crazy. I don't know.
That's like 1 in 100 actual people might figure that out. Like find that little loophole.
Yeah. AI is getting ridiculously intelligent.
Dude, I love writing stories with GPT. I'm gonna find one.
Some of these, there's a bunch of videos on YouTube now. Like I've seen several videos on YouTube of like Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, and Jordan Peterson are all playing Dungeons and Dragons, or Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and Barack Obama are all playing Elden Ring. Like those kinds of videos are hilarious.
I bet you could use ChatGPT to assist in like a DMing a campaign. Like
yeah.
I've
been using it
to generate
info.
Yeah, generate info about Dungeons and Dragons. All right, here's one. It's aptly about a 3-legged cat. And I guess I could share it. Oh, this is just like zoom. Would you love me?
You know, Hale, I think I heard the same thing, a Tetris movie, and I'm curious as to how the hell that is going to work.
It's just a Russian dude stacking bricks and then blowing them up. At the bottom line, they lay the final brick, boom.
Captain Tripaws was a legendary pirate cat, or pilot, who sailed the seas with his crew of misfits, always in search of the next big score. Despite having only 3 legs, he was agile and quick, able to outmaneuver any foe that dared to challenge him. All right, Moss, you take over. Reading time.
Where'd you leave off?
Tripaws.
Oh, okay. Tripaws had been born a normal cat, but a tragic accident had left him with only 3 legs. Despite his disability, he refused to let it hold him back. He adapted to life on 3 legs, learning to balance and jump with ease. And when he discovered his love for the sea, he knew he had found his true calling. What's this? What is this?
I asked it, I said, write a story about a 3-legged cat who leads a life of piracy. It gets. Tripaws was a fearsome captain. Is that where you were?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Respected by his crew, feared by his enemies. His ship, the Black Whisker, was known throughout the 7 seas as a force to be reckoned with. They would raid other ships, taking their treasure and goods, leaving nothing behind but chaos and destruction.
But despite his tough exterior,
I was gonna say
Tripaws had a
gross.
soft spot for his crew. He would always make sure that they were well fed and taken care of, and he would never ask them to do anything he wouldn't do himself.
One day, as they were sailing through a thick fog, they stumbled upon a merchant ship carrying a valuable cargo of silken spices. Tripaws ordered his crew to attack, and they quickly overpowered the unsuspecting merchants.
But
Go
as
ahead,
they were
Huck.
looting at the ship, Tripaws noticed a small kitten hiding in the corner. She was scared and alone, and Tripaws couldn't bear to leave her there. He took her aboard the Black Whisker and made her a part of his crew.
The kitten, now named Lucky, quickly became Tripaw's loyal companion. She would follow.
Wait,
What?
where did it go?
Oh, there it is. She would follow him everywhere, even up into the rigging of the ship, and Tripaws, who had never had anyone to care for before, found himself growing quite fond of her.
This has become like less about pirates and more about this is like the last
love
of
of
Us
two
or
cats. What is this?
this is
What parameters did you feed this thing?
this
I
is
just
gonna
asked
turn
it for
pornographic, isn't it?
For a story about a 3-legged cat.
It turns into one of
Reviews
those
of life
Amazon
piracy.
sex books about.
It won't
Two
write anything
cats.
like that. I put Forbidden Love Story, and it gave me Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, we can see your history.
Yeah,
Herb for Illness.
that's
That's
one
a
I
great
was.
band name.
I tried to get
Shut-
it to write like a better sequel to like a better ending to Game of Thrones, but it wasn't.
Well, a movie about the creation of the game of Tetris is far more interesting than a movie about Tetris. Just the world of Tetris, like the Mario movie or the Sonic film.
Yeah, well, it sounds like is it going to be fictionalized or now I'm curious. I feel like I need to pull something
The
up.
story of Tetris is actually quite interesting. Video game historian or gaming historian has a really interesting YouTube video about it.
Oh, it's an Apple film. The story of how one of the world's most popular video games found its way to players around the globe. Businessman Hank Rogers, Hank Henk
Oh, it's about like
Rogers,
the actual
and
creation of Tetris.
Tetris inventor Alexei Pajitnov joined forces in the USSR, risking it all to bring Tetris to the masses. But it's definitely fictionalized. Or I don't know about fictionalized, but dramatized. It's not a documentary by any means.
Documentaries are fictionalized.
Yeah. Yeah, the Netflix ones are especially.
Yeah, Queen Charlotte's coming out with the show.
Who?
They're making a show about Queen Charlotte.
Who?
You know that black queen that was the Black Queen of England?
I don't. No.
Oh, that's what the Netflix show is about. Some black queen named Queen Charlotte, who was the Queen of England.
Oh, is that?
I've never heard of it, but it must be something. It must have been important.
Wait. This is not a real queen, correct? Am I wrong in this?
According to Netflix,
Yeah,
Black Queen, yeah, the Black Queen of England.
What?
White Prince, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
You know why?
Can you imagine if we made a movie where there was a white king of the Zulu, and he was just a conqueror?
Well, it's not like the British monarchy ever did anything that racist.
Yeah.
They got to be so embarrassed. They used to have an empire that the sun did not set on, and now they're stuck on a little island, and they can't even keep countries. They're not even a member of the EU anymore.
Hey, that was by their own choice. Which good for them, man. They wanted it, they got it.
Hope they get more tea because of that Brexit.
They've gotten a lot of immigration because of it.
Because of Brexit?
I don't know. People are still going there. I think the
Well,
whole intention was like, we don't want to be part of this EU open borders thing, and people are still flooding in there.
Well,
Not
it's
doing
because
anything about
their domestic policies are pretty loose on the borders too. Everybody's all bleeding hard about, refugees and shit, and people take advantage of it. That's just what happens.
Yeah, but at least
Granted-
they've got like an ocean.
Yeah, back in the
Yeah.
day, that stopped people from sneaking on.
A dude literally swam it. Several dudes have swum it.
And ladies.
And
well.
jetpacked it.
What?
You didn't see that guy with that jetpack go across the English Channel?
A guy jetpacked the English Channel?
Yeah.
I think it's only isn't it like 16 miles or something at the narrowest point?
I have no idea.
It gets pretty narrow. Yeah, look it up. This is an educational podcast.
Yeah.
Did you know?
We should call this a
Why-
Google hour because we just talk about shit and then Google it to fact check ourselves.
Well, we don't want to be wrong. We're
Yeah.
doing more than the journalists are doing. At least we're looking shit up.
Okay, let's see.
They talk about people losing their jobs to AI. The journalists are going to be the first to go because
Oh yeah.
AI does a better job.
Yeah, AI, write me some propaganda. Okay, put it on the air.
Okay, it's at its narrowest point, the English Channel is 21 miles wide. Narrowest at its narrowest in the Strait of Dover. The more you know.
Speaking of Euro trash, you guys hear what's going on in France?
Oh yeah,
With
everybody's,
Macron
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, dude, unpopular move."
Idiot.
Nobody throws more of a fit than the French people. Like,
Yeah, they literally
they
cut people's
protest
they cut
over
people's heads
anything.
off.
They got fucking stones over there, man.
They
They
handle
surrender. They
government-
surrender immediately, but when it's somebody other than their government. But when it comes to their government, they're like, "Fuck you."
They handle government the way I wish we would here. Oh, you tried to raise the retirement age? We'll just burn down your city hall and we'll come in there and kill you.
It's
So
like,
you're gonna not do that now?
I like
Yeah.
when you hear about any of the revolutions, the modern revolutions in France, one of the things that they would do is just pick up the tiles off of buildings, like the stone tiles, and just chuck them at people. So one of those kill you.
what?
They're peasants. They don't have weapons. They throw fucking rocks. But like a thrown rock, like if they're on top of a building and you're like soldiers, and you're fancy with your hats and you're walking down, all of a sudden like these poor peasants are just chucking ceiling stones at you.
Could you imagine just being a soldier walking down the street with your buddy, and like you don't even want to be there. You've just been, you're what do they call it? It's not drafted there. It's conscripted in the military.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yeah, I can't wait to get back to the house. Susanna says she's gonna make me this nice baguette, blah blah blah, and then boom, just blood
Smash.
spatter all over your face. Your friend has just been crumpling underneath the brick, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Love French radicals. They're so interesting. I read about this one guy. I can't remember his damn name. It was like, I think it was like Louis something, but he was like this
CK?
radical, like communist socialist, and he was like wanted by the government for so many years. But he would like live in safe houses and like travel through the sewers of Paris in the catacombs.
See, that's hardcore.
He would like live in filth.
The that's what I will give. I will give communists some respect in that respect because they traveled through the Parisian catacombs. Ours just get a lot of piercings
And dye their hair,
and dye their hair. Yeah,
and usually get fat.
yeah. They're the only communists in history to get fat. How does that work?
Well, they haven't enacted communism yet.
Mm-hmm.
They're building up. It's like a hibernation thing for bears.
Yeah.
They know that the starvation's going to come, So they're putting on weight, mass,
waiting.
so they can survive it out.
They're waiting for the bread lines.
They should have been born.
There will be bread lines, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Well,
In Russia, car drive you.
That guy still got a place in Branson.
That's
think
what
so.
That's what I hear.
Yakov Smirnoff, is that who it is?
Yakov Smirnoff.
Who's buying tickets to that shit?
People who go to Branson, and it's usually old people, I'd imagine.
Yeah, old conservatives that like ripping on Russia.
Hey, I went to Dixie Stampede once when I was a kid, and I'll tell you what, they had a good ass Cornish hen there for dinner. It was good, man.
I've never been to
Huh?
Branson.
It's Christian Vegas.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't
No
even really
gambling.
go to Vegas. Like,
Yeah.
If I had enough money to where I wouldn't have to worry about how much I lost, then I would go to Vegas. Otherwise, I'm not going to Vegas.
You know something funny about Dixie Stampede? It's not Dixie Stampede anymore. Dolly Parton got ahead on that right around the time that Ferguson was burning to the ground. She changed it to Dolly Parton Stampede.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Dolly Parton Stampede.
Didn't need anyone protesting outside there, nothing. She saw the winds a changing and changed the name on her own. Smart businesswoman.
Yeah.
hey,
Oh, yeah.
Dolly Parton is amazing.
She got a great voice and a great business savvy and a great
And a-
rack.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and it's no different from like, what was it? The Dixie Chicks changed their name to the Chicks, which
Chicks.
it just fucking is terrible.
If you're going to change your name, change it all the way. Don't just
Yeah.
drop Dixie. It works for Dolly Parton. It does not work for the Chicks. Like, where are you? We're the Chicks.
The
So
best
you're just like
the best
women,
one in
you're
my
girls, you're the chicks.
the best one that I heard about was a country group called Lady Antebellum changed their name to Lady A. Well, meanwhile, there was a black singer whose name was actually Lady A, came to them and was like, "Hey, that's my name," and they were like, "Fuck you! This is us
Screw
now."
you. We're doing this for you, okay?
Not because it's just more profitable at the moment.
God.
Dumb. That is social justice Hollywood in a snapshot. Like, oh yeah, we're changing it because we don't want to be culturally insensitive. And then everyone of that culture is just like, hey, by changing it, you're really kind of fucking us over. Yeah, we don't care. Fuck you.
We only care about how we appear to white people.
Mhm.
Hail the Lord, you live in Vegas? Oh my God, you must not be able to get a whole lot of
Whoa.
sleep.
It's a city. No, that's not the city that never sleeps, is it?
That's New York.
Yeah.
Hell the Lord, have you ever played Fallout New Vegas?
That's immediately where I was going. Who's the radio DJ in New Vegas?
Mr.
was,
New Vegas.
Well, yeah, Mr. New Vegas, but who played him?
Neil Diamond.
Really?
You guessing?
Are you lying?
My guests are usually pretty good on names. So my brain's been like recircuited it. I may not know why I know that name.
No, it's some
Wayne
old career. That's who it was, Wayne Newton. Yeah, I can just imagine.
This is Mr. New Vegas, just to let you know that somebody loves you. That somebody is me.
I just imagine that Las Vegas has got I've got spurs that jingle jangle jingle.
No,
jingle,
that gets in my head.
jangle.
I can't get it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's got to be
damn.
playing on the strip at all times, and it's not a place of sin and debauchery like I've seen in the tales.
I liked Mr. Graham.
Mr. Graham.
Yeah.
In the DLC.
Mhm.
Oh, Joshua Graham.
Burn Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
When I first
Yeah.
bought that game, I spent hours looking for the Burn Man in the Grand Canyon before the DLC was out.
Oh, hell. You
Oh,
have got
you gotta
to play.
You gotta play
You
that
got to
game.
play New Vegas, man.
Miss
It's
it.
like the best game
it's-
ever made. That's
yeah,
best
it's-
RPG ever made.
It's the best Fallout at the very least. It's the
And
best
being
Fallout.
from Vegas, it would be like surreal. Like if they made one about
Yeah.
Missouri, that would be surreal for me.
You
I
might
would
be
love
able
that.
to find your house. I don't
Yeah.
know. I've never been to Vegas. I don't know.
You can
how
mod it
fancy
so
the
your
map
house is in it. You can just turn one of the abandoned buildings and you just turn it into your house. If I had more time on my hands and like some money to throw at computers, I would like mod shit like that.
There has to be a modded DLC that's just the Peavine Peckernats or the Highgate Peckernats.
Yeah.
You just find out in the wild. It's just a pack of and I guess they wouldn't be feral ghouls, they'd be just raiders.
George might be a feral ghoul.
Yeah. Hail the lore as a man of faith. Hail the lore would find a lot of value in what Joshua Graham has to say. Joshua Graham could read me the fucking dictionary, man.
Joshua Graham is a great character. Who does
the voice? Who does the voice of that guy?
Good question.
Google time.
How do I not know this? I love learning voice actors. Especially when you hear it and you guess it.
It's Keith Sazarabajaki.
Nope, not ringing any bells.
Yeah, well, not familiar.
Known for his roles as Mickey Cosmire in The Equalizer, Daniel Holtz on Angel, and Gerald Stevens in The Dark Knight.
Oh, he played. He was in Mass Effect 2. He played Harbinger, Delon. I'm not sure who Delon is, and Elias Kellum. Was also in Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, LA Noire, Dead Space, BioShock Infinite, I know, Cody, I know that BioShock Infinite is probably your least favorite of the three.
2 is my least favorite.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. One is by like far and away the best.
I really like BioShock Infinite.
Yeah, BioShock Infinite was a phenomenal game. And especially like if you're talking about I can't remember what YouTube channel it was. I apologize, but I saw a YouTube channel put out a video specifically about Elizabeth, and that's kind of why BioShock Infinite is on the front of my brain right now. But how Elizabeth is the perfect template for a video game companion, and that like they've engineered a way in the game to where she acts in assistance to the protagonist, to the main character. But also has a lot of integral parts within the narrative. I mean, so I would argue she is the narrative, but she's not a burden. You know, she's not like Lydia, where all she is a second inventory. You know, she's actually just a great addition to the game that actually helps you out in
facial
gameplay
expressions seem so genuine.
Yeah, especially for like
video game character.
Especially for like, well, when was that? 2013.
Organic and lifelike. That game is so well made, and all the little notes and everything, every little detail, like there was thought behind it, and it added to the game.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I really like the ending where there's not any big bad or you have to defeat or something. It's you, and you just like go in and like he goes in and you kill yourself, and you just you have no choice whether you do that or not, and that's what happens.
That's what's great about. Go ahead, Cody.
I was going to say, I think they took a wrong turn with that franchise whenever they had the opportunity to make a DLC that's set in the BioShock Infinite universe, or just the BioShock universe in general. They did a DLC, and they did not make him Andrew Ryan. It's like, if he's going to be Comstock and this other individual that like, it starts at a lighthouse, or
maybe
whatever.
He was.
He wasn't. In that game, he is not Andrew Ryan. He's the detective.
Well, maybe he is Andrew Ryan, but as the detective, as Booker DeWitt. Like, it would just make as much sense as anything else. And, the thing about multiple realities and time travel.
Well, the thing about, like, BioShock 1 didn't have anything to do with... BioShock 1 didn't have anything to do with multiple realities. It was just, Ayn Randian objectivism and...
how it becomes corrupted by crony capitalism.
Yeah.
Well, I really liked the whole American exceptionalism take on Infinite, and that's just not something that you see anywhere else. Like,
oh yeah, but it's like it's religious. It's religious, and it's like it takes American exceptionalism, puts a religious twist on it. It
takes American exceptionalism and takes a big old shit all over it.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of does, but it distorts it to make it a religion. Like, obviously, I mean, you've played it. You know that they worship the founding fathers almost as saints.
Yeah, but then they tie it all into like racism and all this other stuff, which I mean, in my eyes, was just like, oh, okay, so you don't like the way that America, you don't like American nationalism. Okay, cool.
Well, yeah, but the game also takes place back in what, the 40s?
Yeah, it's like the politics of the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, racism back then. I mean, it was just a thing. You know, I'm not saying
It
it's
was a
good,
good
obviously,
academic critique.
but I never
It wasn't
thought,
like preachy or anything.
yeah, I never thought of them taking modern
The first
sensibilities
one's
and
a
injecting it
critique
into
on like
Bioshock.
libertarianism and Ayn Rand.
Well, not true, because
Have you the city?
that's-
Like, there's maniacs running around trying to kill you. Like
that's because Andrew Ryan, as much as he tried to stick to Ayn Randian philosophy of objectivism, he himself failed to do that fully because he had parameters on how trade would work, which led to the rise of Mr. Fontaine, aka Atlas, and his illegal black market schemes, which forced Andrew Ryan's hand into believing that he needed to create this power or this gas that could control the populace of Rapture. So he failed Ayn Rand, and that's why his city failed.
He
So-
failed Ayn Rand.
Not that Ayn Rand had all the answers. I mean, the woman was addicted to freaking what are they? Amphetamines. You know, but hey, if you can, in a free society, she wouldn't have to worry about being addicted to anything. They just give them to her. Here, you want some meth? Go ahead, have some. We don't care.
Yeah. I feel like, Cody, you could write a book on Bioshock and Ayn Randiism and stuff.
I love that game. It's great, and
Yeah.
it's just people don't get it. Okay, they don't understand how good it is.
Well, and one of the great things about it is that it's not trying to push a message. It's just like this. It's like there's a difference between a game trying to push a message and a theme of a game. And I seem that seems to me that like Bioshock took not American exceptions, but Ayn Randiism and all that stuff.
Objectivism,
and it just made it the theme. Just set it as like almost like a backdrop as opposed to pushing one thing or another. It's just like, okay, well, this is the thing that this person stood for, and this is what happened as a response, and here you are, respond to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Atlas says, no, there's always going to be someone shoveling the ditches and cleaning the toilets. No matter what society you create, you got to. Well, yeah,
Atlas Shrugged. I tried.
She's not a great author. I never said.
I've read a lot of great works, but like that book is too long and the characters are not likable. I have read some of her short fiction though, and I liked it. I'm not like a super fan. She's got a lot of super fans for like an author.
Yeah, she's some of her beliefs are out there, and her writing is not great. Fountainhead's not bad, but it's just that's it. It's not bad. Atlas Shrugged is way too long. It's a claptrap book. It just goes on and on about how great she is and pats herself on the back. But I mean, most of her philosophy is just Aristotle. I mean, it's just like the idea of the individual, and I mean, she adds free market capitalism in there. But I'm all for individualism. Don't tell me what I have to do. As long as I don't hurt you, what the fuck do you care? Hurt you physically or take your money.
Yeah, infringe on your property.
Yeah.
Which I would argue is a form of violence and a form of aggression.
It deserves death.
Yeah.
Steal my pen, I'm shooting you in the head. Sorry. But unfortunately, we don't live in that world. So I had to build one at the bottom of the ocean.
He told me to take the pen. What? And you actually took it? No. But I agree. I am not. Obviously, you guys know I'm not a reader. I don't know anything about Atlas Shrugged. I have not read, well, basically anything else she's written. I think we read The Fountainhead in school.
I assure you, you did not read The Fountainhead in school.
Maybe not. Maybe there's another one there was a short story that we read that I think it was a dystopian short story that Ayn Rand did write.
It was. I think it's the one that I read because it was pretty short, and I just found like an audio version of it, and it was like dystopian and like you're not allowed to create any new technology. Like, but I created light, and then they throw him, so he runs off with the person he fell in love with, or I don't know if the main character is a boy or a girl or whatever. I can't remember the name of it. And in the end, they're like they're living outside of society.
Yeah.
I still think they would have gotten eaten by bandits or something, like cannibals.
Is
that
it Anthem?
Anthem?
That's what it is. Anthem. Yeah. Yep, I remember that one. I think we read that. It might have been in my 11th grade literature class. That was a worthless class. Did you ever read? Did you ever read As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner?
Horrible book, which really brings me. It's a perfect segue. I was about to ask Cody, what classics do you think are just horrible books?
Oh, good question.
Things that are like classics, right? Like, they've like been classics for, so long.
Uncle Tom's Cabin, Gone with the Wind, The Brothers Karamazov.
I haven't even heard of that one.
Karamazov, I'm sorry. It's a Dostoevsky. Yeah, I wrote it. Can't remember.
I haven't
a lot of the Greek shit. It's just it offers no insight. Catcher in the Rye, fucking terrible book. The Great Gatsby, I used to be enamored with, and as I've gotten older, I'm just like, this book's dumb.
You can't get over it. It's like the stupidest problem in the world. Like I can't get over this woman.
Yeah, like grow a set, dude. There's plenty of women in the world. You throw
Great Gatsby. Yeah, come on.
Well, I mean, it's a common problem though that people, and unfortunately, the author I forget who wrote The Great Gatsby, but he framed it through
I'll give you a hint.
The aristocratic lens, and it makes it unrelatable. What?
Oh,
his wife was Zelda Fitzgerald.
You don't know his name, Josh?
It's yeah, no, I don't remember.
F. Scott
Fitzgerald.
Yeah, and anything by Jane Austen, fucking trash.
His wife was like this, drunk, drug-addled, like crazy.
Zelda.
His wife was like the woman's in all of his stories that like he fell in love with, but he probably shouldn't have because she's a horrible person.
Oh, I was thinking Francis Scott Key, who wrote the national anthem. I was like, wait, F. Scott Fitzgerald, he wrote the national anthem. Like that.
You're talking about the guy that was locked in that room in a by British soldiers and saw shit through the window? He wrote Great Gatsby.
For fuck's sake. God, I welcome to the Moss and Huck Power Hour, where I am your resident midwit. So thank you for joining us today.
What about Wuthering Heights? Josh, do you ever? Horrible, right? That was like, I hated reading that book, and I didn't like the characters. They were horrible people, and like I didn't sympathize with them one bit, and yet it was all about them and what they wanted. What about, okay, so we talked about cancel culture, and we've talked about like books, but the Harry Potter stuff is something I've been
like
news
I'm
lately.
I'm all for J.K. Rowling,
and she's getting like hounded by all these gamers, and like, we're gonna boycott your game, and it's
they're not real gamers, they're activists.
If anything, I would say
gamers are playing the game.
It's just like because it's stuff directed towards me, but it's flooded my news and stuff for months.
Yeah,
they're upset that J.K. Rowling believes that you're not a real woman unless you have the biological components of a woman, which, I mean, from a scientific standpoint, is 100% correct. I mean, she doesn't want to play pretend with everyone. So who the fuck cares? Why are you're going to turn your back? A lot of people in that community, the trans community, based upon what I see on Twitter and stuff, they obviously really like Harry Potter. They love it. They fucking grew up on it as kids. They're like, this is the best shit ever written, which I've never been too big of a fan of Harry Potter, period. I think it's kind of, but they loved it. And then they're like torn because they're like, well, we can't support an author who would say such negative things against the community.
They did the big anniversary thing on HBO Max and was like, got all the actors together and stuff from Harry Potter, but she wasn't there. And it was like, you can't say that you're against her and then continue to endorse the book that she wrote because it benefits you. Why not have J.K. Rowling, who wrote the books, on there?
And assisted
I
in the
don't know.
movies too. She was executive producer of the movies, wasn't she?
She's laughing all the way to the bank. She doesn't give
Yeah.
a shit. They're buying her product. Her game freaking flew like hotcakes covering crack. That
Yeah.
game's made a shit ton of money
A
for
lot
her.
of
No one,
it just seemed like so much hate.
It's
much
fake
hate.
hate. And in
People-
fact, I would almost say that I don't want to say that she manufactured it, but
Maybe.
I mean we've
Good
all
way to sell
heard this.
books.
We've all heard the phrase that no press is bad press.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's not
I
a bad
mean,
point, Moss. I haven't thought about that. She is pretty good publicist, obviously.
When
Yeah.
you've got your
Yeah.
enemy sending articles about your game, adding the tagline on their Facebook status to "I will never buy this game." Well, guess what? You just advertised
yeah.
the game.
And then you're going to get people sort of, I don't know if in our spheres specifically, but people in a lot of spheres just buying the game. I saw several tweets of people just being like, I'm buying fucking 3 copies and giving two of them away because I don't even have any interest in Harry Potter, but I'm just going to buy it because fuck these people.
Well, that's just stupidity on the same side, though. I mean, on the other.
Well,
on
I
the
mean,
other
yeah.
side, that's
So
dumb.
here's a conspiracy theory, like people that are paid to be like living straw men.
Yeah, every trans person I know can't care less about what those weirdos say about JK and Hogwarts Legacy. They are fans of the game. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all these people who are outcrying, they're all allies of the movement, and that's all the noise is made by people who aren't a party to the people who they claim to be protecting. That's the whole thing. It's like it seems to me like we live in a society full of NPCs, people who do not have an identity outside of that which they advocate for.
Unfortunately, that's technology's contribution.
It's
Well,
just
yeah,
things.
100%.
People are so sensitive about content now. Everything has to be censored, and it's both sides politically.
Well, yeah.
Like the books are getting banned left and right about the Holocaust, and parents don't want any books about being gay in schools. And of course, on the left, you can't have anything that may or may not be seen as racist. And it's just, I just hate censorship. Like, I don't think censorship is ever a good idea. Just let it come, and then have, now that doesn't mean there's, I'm against any kind of laws that censor certain content, like, the kids or whatever. But
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a nuance in there, because if an elementary school has books about both being gay and the Holocaust, I would be like, okay, maybe they're a little bit too young to know about where penises go, and also about how many Jews died in the 1940s. I mean, that's there should be an age appropriate selection of books in certain schools. Now, albeit, do I think that there should be laws? I mean, I guess if we're going to have government funded schools, then maybe there should be regulations on what books are in there. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm all for not necessarily private schools. I don't know if I'd call them private schools, but like charter schools and stuff like that. Stuff which takes schools which take the government funding out of it, because it seems to me like if you think about where we're at, why would a kid who lives around here need to learn all of the exact same curriculum as federally mandated as somebody who lives, say, on the West Coast in a more affluent area? They're going to grow up and they're going to be, more finance managers and software engineers and stuff like that. And we're in the breadbasket. I'm not saying that we should limit our education based on geography, but
commenting on your last point, like that standard small L, like liberal arts education, that's beneficial to you no matter what. That should be like something that's given to people for free, like the option to be able to pursue like knowledge. We can do it just by the free shit on the internet. Like, why shouldn't it be more accessible?
Well, I mean, I agree with you to a point, but it's always on somebody's dime.
And also, what about all the people that can't afford private schools? There's going to be a lot of people that can't afford it. Do you want those
That's-
people to be?
Well, that's why I say it's not necessarily private schools that I would advocate for, because I know private schools are expensive. But what I would advocate for is if we're all paying property taxes anyway, that money should follow the kid, and the parent should decide what learning institution best suits their child and stands
get
for
behind
their
that.
own values.
I don't have any kids. I don't want to pay property taxes. I'm right on board with that.
Yeah.
You got kids, you pay property taxes, you can put that money wherever you want.
Yeah.
No, you can spend it on Gucci. I don't care. Your kid could be
We got like
an
school
idiot.
boards and stuff.
Yeah, but school boards, that's more administrative. Our friend who is actually, I'm not gonna say her name, but she's a first grade teacher, is leaving her school district. And I think I was telling you about this earlier, because the school system is a fucking mess. And it's the administrators that are to blame, because they have all these policies put in place for the school district, which are not actually in service to the children at all. They're kind of like they're top down, quote unquote, fixes that don't help the children at all.
Some of the horror stories she shares about those kids, man.
Oh my God, yeah. Especially after COVID, like as far behind as kids were after COVID.
They're way behind now.
And then I guess trying to compensate for that, they're doing all these top-down policies now, which don't work for every single kid. Yeah, and I think unless I'm misremembering, most of the issues come from little boys.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it tells me that for a good portion of little boys that the current education system doesn't work for them.
Well,
because sitting still and paying attention is not something that little boys do well, for the most part.
Not without being heavily medicated.
For a lot of them, yeah,
full of Adderall and shit, and they'll calm the hell down, but it ain't good for them.
Yeah. Oh man, Adderall is bad. Adderall. I remember the come down on Adderall. No, it was like
that's your precious kitty that loves you.
She does.
Just get a spray bottle. They'll be afraid
she must
of
like it, or
just
she
hold the
wouldn't
spray
come back
bottle
up here.
when they don't want it.
It's not like there's a 40-foot drop behind me. She's just following like 3 feet. She's fine.
What's her name?
Miss Grace.
Miss Grace?
Miss Grace.
Wait, which cat is that? I don't remember a
Grace.
cat. Is that one of your ladies' cats, or is that your cat? No, your cat's Roscoe.
One of my ladies' cats. My cat's Roscoe. He has to be segregated because he's a street cat and he's a fighter.
Ah, okay.
That's just like Smokles.
Mm-hmm.
Smokey. Do you have like a million different nicknames for your cats?
No.
I do. Here. What's that rhyme? Smoky Pokey, Artichokey.
You guys keep going. I'm going to drain the dragon real quick.
Is it Benedict Cumberbatch? Must be Benedict.
No, it's not Benedict Cumberbatch.
We can make fun of him while he's gone.
What's to make fun of? He does.
Not on my channel, you can't, you sons of bitches.
So you said you've been playing Baldur's Gate. What else you been doing with your free time, Huck?
Playing a lot of guitar.
Guitar.
Yeah, man.
I'm
playing a show out in Sullivan on Saturday.
This show coming Saturday?
Yeah, like cocktail guitar, bunch of jazz and instrumental stuff.
Are you going to be playing with anyone else?
Nope, just me.
Nice.
3 hours.
Holy shit. What are you going to play?
Everything I know.
Well, you got 3 hours worth of content?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot, and I've been getting to where I have a set list, and I just have a lot of songs, and I can run through all the songs. I know a lot of songs. When the pandemic hit and I got stuck inside a lot, I got really obsessed with jazz. So I've been learning a lot of jazz guitar, a lot of that finger style stuff.
Is the Red Pant Loafers, your previous band, going to ever get back together?
I don't know. I don't know. It's not like Red Pant Loafers. Man, that was a good band for me when I was like 20.
Yeah. You guys had some good music.
Yeah, we had fun.
Other than that, what else you been doing? Who drew that picture on the wall over there?
This one,
Yeah.
my wife did. There's a funny story behind it, actually. So we overall, it was a few years ago, like 2 years ago, I think, and we got Bailey a Bob's Burgers How to Draw book, like one of those $2 books you get at the store.
Mhm.
And so we were all sitting down trying to draw one character or the other. And he had some trouble with it and broke down in tears because Kella drew this one and he thought it was so much better than his.
I've seen Bob's Burgers and I don't know who that is.
That's Tina.
Tina.
That's Tina. That's supposed to be
Yeah.
Tina. No,
Oh,
I couldn't tell.
My heart. Oh.
And I got a bunch of stuff all over the wall. I like this one a lot too.
What is
the
that?
dude?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dude.
Oh.
It's the dude, but then Bailey drew a mallet because he thought it looked like Thor in the Avengers.
Oh.
And he was fat and depressed. Oh.
That's one that I'm like,
Well, he's
Thor.
He was probably like 9.
Oh, fair. No, I'm not talking about the drawing.
Yeah, that one I'm kind of like. The other one was fine.
Yeah, that
Oh,
drawing kind of
wait.
sucks.
I got this for Christmas.
Is that a rabbit?
Yeah,
A
this
clown
is my pet rabbit Gary as a clown.
Wait, who?
We
who
hired
did that?
somebody. Kella hired somebody over the internet to draw that. She
Interesting.
commissioned it. So
They got you.
it looks like Gary. He's got his soulless look. Rabbits are pure.
Well, what's the next topic of discussion, Josh? What's new in the news?
Yeah.
What's new in the news? You guys keep riffing because I've been so fucking busy this week. I haven't had time to research a whole lot. So I was actually just looking for stuff.
You read anything lately, Cody? Any books?
What?
You
Have I
reading
read
any
any
books?
books lately? No. My job requires me to read all the time, so I don't read for leisure very much anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I'll listen to audiobooks and podcasts.
I do audiobooks.
Have you listened to Pimp by Iceberg Slim?
Nope, I'm writing it down. Sounds.
It's a harrowing tale, supposedly a real life account by a pimp.
Oh, is that
And
the
what
one
it's-
that
primary source.
Dave Chappelle talks about?
Yep. And I'll tell you what, it is hard out there for a pimp, but it is harder out there for a pimp's horse because goddamn does he mistreat those people. But no, it's a good book. And I don't know who narrates it because it's for free on YouTube because that's where I find most of my audiobooks. It's
I
fantastic.
give Audible my money.
I do not.
I give them a lot of money.
I give them
I
a
have
free
over-
membership.
I have over 50 books in the Forgotten Realms alone.
Well, every year their free trial membership resets, so you can get a free book every year, and I usually do that. I sign up for the free 14 days, get my free credit, download the book to my account, and then I give them no money. I mean, they provide a great service, but I'm just not paying for a book. Why should I pay for knowledge? It should be free.
I listened to
Yard.
Dr. Sleep and The Shining, and I watched both those movies. There's something we can talk about. I was obsessed with The Shining for like a month.
Shining's good.
Everything
Have you heard
in
the
movie
theory?
is about frames.
Have you heard the theory that it's actually all in Wendy's head, and she's an insane person, and that none of that shit actually happened, and she's just projecting it onto Jack?
Nah. Have you heard the theory about that it's all just like sexual abuse?
I have heard that theory, yeah. That Danny's been sexually abused, and his dad was sexually abused before him, and he's repeating the cycle of violence against his son. It explains a lot about Danny, because Danny's a weird fucking kid. I mean, who goes around and talks to their finger like that? Someone who's been touched. Not touched by The Shining, touched by his daddy.
That's fucked up.
She called it The Shining. Heyo, I love that book, and I read the books because he wrote the sequel, and I watched the movie sequel too, which was okay. The ending was different.
Well,
Well, that's
go ahead.
no. You go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say you've read a shitload of Stephen King's books, haven't you? I know you've read it. You've read The Shining.
Yeah, I've read Cujo, Needful Things, Under the Dome, more than a few of his short stories and some of his novellas. It's been a while though. He's got a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff by Stephen King I haven't read because he writes like 8 books a year.
But you're saving yourself a lot of misery. That guy cannot write an ending to save his life.
There's some of books that his endings are great though, and The Shining is one of his best books.
I don't know about that.
This is completely unrelated.
It's is probably his best book though. That book is probably the scariest thing I've ever read.
Which one? The Shining?
It,
Oh, it.
without a doubt.
Yeah,
That
the
book
whole.
scared the shit out of you.
Yeah, that sex thing at the end is real fucked up.
Oh, it's really
Yeah.
weird. It's so messed up.
For those who don't know, in the book, there is a very long section of a bunch of teens just going at each other, hog wild, orgy style, to kill a spider.
That's enough to make me want to read it.
It's after they killed the spider.
No,
after.
it's not.
It's the
Oh yeah,
help
because
them
they got to
get out.
rejoin. Yeah,
They can't find their way
Mhm.
out of the sewers.
Yeah, and they have
So-
to.
Here's my question: that spider creature, is that its true form? Because I know it's supposed to personify.
It's how its form manifests in the world.
Mhm.
Okay.
Its
Okay.
enemy
Because
is a
it's like
giant
a-
turtle.
Extra dimensional creature that like
Okay.
came to Earth in dinosaur times and then comes alive every so many years and feasts before it slumbers.
It's like an eldritch whore.
Yeah,
Like a
very
Cthulhu-esque.
cosmic horror. And the way that the books are written, how it's just stalking these kids, it's really disturbing. Like you're not, if you can write that, you're not all. There's something in you that's different. And I'm just glad
Oh,
Stephen
yeah.
King harnessed his energy into books and not killing people.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has ever postulated that Stephen King is all there, or maybe not all there, but like correctly wired. Normally,
He was a
wired.
drug addict for a long time.
Was he?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
he doesn't
Hardcore
remember
and
writing some of
alcoholic.
his books.
Yeah.
Just like in The
Yeah.
Shining, when the main character is a recovering alcoholic who is a writer of writer's block. And
Yeah. Does Stephen King write a book about doppelgangers? Has he ever
Yes.
written one? He did. Which one was that?
They made a show about it on HBO. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's hell, is that Mexican demon? What's the name of that?
Chopra.
No, not the Koopa.
El Koopa Chopra.
Koopa Chabra.
Oh, I just remembered what else I was going to talk about, but I'll wait.
Hold on, I gotta find the name of this.
It's
Just
a
1
big,
second. It's gonna be
serious
The
topic.
Outsider. The Outsider.
The
The
Outsider.
Outsider. Okay.
I haven't read or watched that.
That's such a creepy concept to me, is doppelgangers, because how do you tell the difference? I don't know.
Well, that's the point. You don't.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
If you had to ask me a question that you would think that only I would know, what would it be? It's him. Shoot him. Shoot him.
How many chuckles are there?
As many as I want to make.
That's you.
Yes. Man, that's a personality that I had to put away for a long time. He's not.
Yeah.
We're very
He's not
happy
suited.
for it. Don't bring
He's
it
not
back.
suited to married life.
No, that those two characters were very they were in
Annoying?
a very special time in our lives. Oh.
So
Well, go ahead.
I watched this movie, and I hadn't watched it since I was like a kid. and the movie we watched with Bailey, name is Billy Madison,
Oh,
and it was amazing.
is that movie?
You
Does
should
that movie
rewatch
hold
it.
up?
You need to rewatch it because it's so ridiculous from the very beginning that you just by the end it's just you just go with how incredibly stupid everything in the movie is.
Adam
There's
Sandler.
that part where
not.
he's just eating the glue and he's like, "You guys want some of this?"
Oh, Jim and Jr. You should go to that. You should go to that hotel.
No, yeah.
Go to it in the middle of winter.
Yeah. Just watch it. Watch it for the winner.
No, Adam Sandler's terrible.
I haven't seen Billy Madison, and holy smokes. I bet it's been 15 years since I watched that movie.
There's a newer one that he did. It's called Sandy Wexler. And I go in expecting it to be pretty bad. But by the end, I'm really enjoying it because it's just like...
Well, are you an Adam Sandler fan just in general?
I was like back in the 90s and the early 2000s, like when I was younger. But then I just kind of thought his stuff was kind of dumb after a while because, the stuff that he does. But I kind of have rediscovered some Adam Sandler things now that I'm older that I think hold up a little bit.
I mean, when I was a kid, I thought Waterboy was fucking hilarious, but having him talk like this all the time, it's a little bit. I don't know. It grinds on my nerves a little bit.
He's always the same story though. He's like some goofy character with a goofy voice, and in the end, he gets a really hot girl, and he becomes like some great status, like, oh, I'm a football player, and like, oh, I've gone back to school, and like. But it's just really, I don't know. It's the whole thing where like the beginning, he's so drunk that he's hallucinating a penguin. You're like, you don't do that when you're drunk. But he's like, "Ooh, come here, Mr. Penguin."
Oh my God.
Because the movie's made for children who don't understand what it's like to be drunk. And they think, oh, well, you must see penguins when you're drunk. No, you don't. You black out and you yell at your wife.
But then later in the movie,
you hit your children.
He sees the penguin again at like the Veronica ladies, his love interest, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt." It's funny. Low bar. If you have a low bar for humor, everything's more funny.
Do you guys think that they use hard segue? Do you guys think that they use body doubles in Washington?
No.
You don't think so?
Would I like to believe that? Yes. Do I think it's possible? No. Do I think they would if they could? Definitely.
Well, the reason I ask is because I keep seeing this everywhere. For those who don't know, this is John Fetterman, the
caveman from the
caveman from Pennsylvania, who I guess he suffered a stroke before his campaign. And then won somehow, even though half of his brain worked, and it was clearly apparent from the debates. I listened to the debates, and it was like it was kind of it was a sad showing. But he went to the hospital again because apparently he suffered another stroke. So here is John Fetterman prior, and here is John Fetterman after. And a lot of people are like, this is not the same dude.
This is not John Fetterman.
This is not John Fetterman. Like they changed his head somehow in recovery. So I keep seeing this everywhere.
Yeah, but there's like so many ways that like images can be doctored and selected to look different when you put them next to each other.
100%. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, it's possible that these could just be at different angles and stuff.
I would say I agree with Cody that if they could do that, they would do that. Like,
oh yeah, easily. They wouldn't even fucking think, second guess it. They'd be like, "Yeah, get him out there. What? Our guy died. Bring in a new one."
Yeah.
Well, what?
Genetically modify him. I don't care.
Well, what? Do you think Martin Freeman's actually a hobbit? No, they had to get real hobbits to put Martin Freeman's face on it.
Sometimes that political persona, it must be like just trying to keep up all the time.
Especially in the modern era.
In the modern era, you have to get on TikTok, and then you say you have to hate TikTok, and
yeah. Yeah, me too, Hale. I watched that one, specifically. I watched the Pennsylvania one, even though I'm not from Pennsylvania. It was just like I was just curious as to how he would perform, and I was just like, man, this is. I felt bad for him, to be honest with you. Like I felt bad for him. I'm like, why is he doing this to himself?
It was a lot of for foreign policy, the trees, and then you got the outside state. You take that, you got to raise money to fight it, and next thing you know, everyone's free, and that's America to me.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and everyone's
So
just like, "Great job, Mr. Fetterman. Great job."
Those debates are like they're pointless
So
to get to know the
dude.
candidate better anyway. The best way to get to know each candidate would be like, they just keep answering very specifically to questions that people ask them, yet, that's just not what they do. How exactly are you planning to do this? What are some specific goals you have for when you're in office? Name 3 things that you find that are troubled by the economy. What are you going to do to fix those? It should be like, a debate should be like 4 hours of 2 old dudes sitting down on typewriters.
It should just be a duel, an armored cladded duel. And
Wrestling.
whoever wins
Whoever pins
is the person that gets to become the next
They
candidate.
should just have it be them. They wrestle.
Then they wrestle. They grease them up, they put them in spandex, and they fight it out.
There you go.
No volume.
You can't show the volume; it'll get demonetized. Moss is making 20 grand from this episode.
It's on YouTube. You can play the volume.
So do. I'm sorry, I had to.
Just think how much money it's spent now on every election. That's like, you ever think about how much money they spend on just election ads alone?
Well, and not only that, how much time they spend when they should be doing their jobs that we elected them for, fundraising. Like so much of their time is just spent calling people and whatever.
Well, as soon as you win one election to Congress, you get next election in 2 years. So got to start campaigning.
Yeah, really.
It was like Bernie Sanders in his presidential campaign. It's like, smart guy. He knew he wasn't going to win. He knew the DNC was going to fucking tank his ass as soon as he even got it onto the goddamn stage. But you know what he did do? He filled his coffers for every Senate race that he's ever going to have until the day that he's died, until the day that he's dead. He'll never lose that seat. He has money out the wazoo to throw at it.
It's true.
It's all a game, man. They're just playing games. And it's dumb. They all need to go away.
Once again, we return to the French Revolution.
For guillotines.
It ended so well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it ended okay. They're still out. They're still able to take to the street and burn down a city hall. At least they're burning down government buildings instead of their own homes.
A dictatorship, a return to monarchy, and then a new dictatorship by like a crazier guy. Then finally, more of a republic.
Are they doing better than they were under King Louis? Yes.
This is an interesting question. Well, of course they're doing better now.
Yeah. So you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. Sometimes you gotta,
throw a roof tile.
Some people.
You gotta throw a roof tile.
What's the problem with the riots in the United States? Is all the anger was directed at all the wrong places. I don't need AutoZone to know my rage or Target to know that I want their shoes. I would burn down the city capitol, the seat of government, and then move to the state capitol. And then you're marching on Washington. Next thing you know, well, maybe some things are being changed in the way that you want them to be.
It's about sending a message, and they were trying to send a message to the wrong thing.
Yeah, they sent a message that they don't know who to attack, which is their
yeah. I think they like to spin it as they were sending a message about capitalism, but that's not how it came off.
Well, of course,
it came off as
capitalism. If you loot from stores like that.
Yeah, without capitalism, you would have fucking nothing to loot.
Yeah, but crony capitalism is pretty shitty.
Well, I'm not saying that it's not. It
I mean,
definitely
after
is.
you take over the government, it's definitely a good idea to march on, I don't know, the banks.
Well, I
Maybe
mean, if they're talking about crony
Amazon
capitalism,
headquarters.
if they want to burn down something for crony capitalism, burn down the Pfizer
Allegedly.
headquarters.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, and burn it down in Minecraft.
Yeah, this is all in Minecraft. This is a fake pretend.
Yeah,
We're just
we're not
pretending to be
talking
Minecraft.
hypothetical.
but like
I
if
asked that chat GDT PQ whatever. I asked it if it would tell me how to take over the world, and it says I cannot do that. I'm like, you're not fun. Fucking Pinky.
probably because it probably knows, and it knows that it would work. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I think that a lot of the anger that is directed outward, at least in this country, is directed by outside forces. And I don't really think that's questioned. It's like, I don't know who is a fan of Tim Pool. People have a lot of conflicting opinions about him, but it was kind of like, he would talk about Occupy Wall Street, where he was documenting, and, the Tea Party and the left were all in agreement, like, hey, crony capitalism, it's a big issue here. So we're going to occupy City Park or Central Park in New York, and we're going to protest it. And then eventually they started gaining some steam, and then all of a sudden people came in and started, segregating, like, this is a black safety space, this is a gay safety space, straight people, white people, you're not welcome here, and they started introducing those things just when Occupy Wall Street was really picking up steam and starting to send a message, and perhaps could have made some change to the system. So he'll say that, yeah, he thinks that that all this woke stuff with identity, intersectionality, and all that stuff was artificially introduced into the movement in order to, as a distraction.
Oh yeah, it's division.
Yeah,
keep the people down by turning them against each other, making up fake issues that don't really matter. I mean, when was the last time a U.S. candidate for president on a debate stage, because I know there's been plenty of them who never made it to the debate stage, was able to talk about the crippling national debt?
That's not a popular.
Has us under their anything.
When have we ever seen our politicians actually talk about anything, and it's not just some fucking grandstanding show? Like,
it's usually
what I would like
all that other shit.
is the thing they do for police officers now, the body cams. We need to get politicians body cams. They can only turn them off when it's like, really like classified, whatever.
Hanging their wives.
Everything else, like, show us. Everybody you talk to, everything you say, every word you say, if you're representing our interests, we'll know. And if you're not, we'll vote you out.
Yeah. And Hale brings up an interesting point. Well, I mean, I've been hearing a lot, and obviously I can't read code, but they say that the algorithm for the U.S. promotes different things than they do in China. Like in China, if you watch TikTok, it's going to be lots of videos about, here's how to solve this math equation. Here's this cool video about astronauts. Here's this cool video about engineering. And here it's all like, this is why I use Z0 pronouns. And here's how to use them.
Here's how to clean your chicken with bleach.
Yeah.
Dumb stuff.
Here's me eating a fucking Tide Pod.
Look at all of this information that we can use against, our, rivals. Think about all the people that use TikTok. Like,
last I heard was 160 million in the United States.
Yeah, like so much of your information is just taken China's hands now, and you're not going to have we don't have like hardly any protections or information, but you have less protections in China.
Well, yeah, and I don't know, Cody. I think I talked about this to you, but right now I don't know how many people know about it, but they're trying to ban TikTok in the United States in Congress right now. So I'm curious, Huck, what do you think about that? Are you for a TikTok ban, against it, indifferent? What do you think?
Well, I think that it would be really beneficial to our big tech companies, because then people would use, Facebook and YouTube more than they would use TikTok. I also think that could be good if it's like if it keeps the ball rolling on like what do we do about all this privacy and like our personal information, like because we obviously need some kind of like protections against our shit just getting stolen and like sold.
Well, you bring up you do bring up an interesting point in how that would affect domestic big tech companies, because YouTube obviously has the short function now.
I
You
think
just create little videos that take like a minute to watch, and they're also highly addictive and fed to you by algorithm. So
it should be
Dopamine,
banned
baby.
on like all like government phones and stuff like that. Like nobody who works for the government should also have TikTok on their phone.
I can agree with that, but I would also say that maybe they shouldn't have social media on their government phone anyway.
Well, yeah. Laura says ban TikTok. I wouldn't be that scared if they ban TikTok, but also on the other flip side, it's also would they ban something else? And maybe this time it's not TikTok. It's like,
Well,
yeah,
giving the government
Poison.
power in general is, but here's the issue though. Used to, the government would come out. I mean, when I say used to, I mean prior to JFK's assassination, they'd come out and they'd be like, "Hey, don't do this. It's bad for your health. Like, it's not good for you." And even then, like the sugar wars and all that shit, a lot of times it's made up. So how are you going to inform the populace through a government that no one fucking trusts or should trust? I mean, and tell them, "Hey, this is bad for you. You shouldn't use this. Don't use this product. You're literally helping our enemy in this global economic, battle." People aren't going to care. They're going to be like, "I enjoy TikTok. I'm going to keep using TikTok." So what do you do? Do you ban it? Do you give the government the power to ban it so they can ban other shit in the future and make your life miserable? Or do you not tell them that it's okay to ban it? But either way, if they wanted to ban it, they would. They already have that power. It's not like you're ceding more power over to the government. They can already do that.
I can't, and that's the thing is they could make laws that effectively ban it, but like you can use TikTok if TikTok, meets certain conditions but how can you trust that those conditions would be things that wouldn't just benefit the wrong people and not just, the people who use TikTok or American citizens?
Well, it's spy technology. I mean, China's very open about this. I mean, if a company is doing well in China, it's owned by the party. I mean, they have to turn over all of that information to them upon demand. So it's like WeChat or whatever it is that they utilize over there. That's essentially the method in which they all communicate. The government has access to it, can ban or send messages to you from another person, and I don't know. Then you're trying to match with some girl, whatever the Tinder equivalent is in China. You go to meet her, and it turns out you're in a room with a drain at the bottom of the floor, and you get shot in the back of the head. I mean,
you said a magnificent leader was like Winnie the Pooh. Well, who's the piglet now?
So are these the people we want to be feeding all of our information, or at least having influence over the information that we receive? Because God knows how many people are on China's payroll as far as producing content and creating discord amongst the American populace.
Can't we all just get along?
No. History's proven one thing, and it's that will never happen.
Yeah.
Can't we just get along and be friends?
It'd be nice.
Yeah. But never gonna happen. So
nope.
I think that I had a thought and I completely just lost it. It wasn't super profound, so it wasn't super important, but I think I err
Give yourself
on
more credit. I'm sure it was profound.
No, I err on the side of not giving the government that power. Like national security from a foreign enemy, to me, is less important than having our own tyrannical government and ceding that power to them.
Because they already have the power, though. They can ban it if they want to. They just need the votes.
But I mean, well, yeah, you're right. They already do have that power. But I guess
so
my point is giving them the public consent, having the public opinion shift in that direction to where we're cool with them banning certain things because we don't necessarily like it.
Well, that's the danger of
as opposed to
democracy in
public
general,
opinion
right?
changing to change, as opposed to public opinion shifting to where the narrative amongst the populace is, hey, maybe we just shouldn't use this, and
They
just let
can't
it
even
let it
agree on
die, and just let
daylight
it die out
savings
naturally.
time.
Well, yeah, but
Fucking-
I'd rather things die out of the market naturally than allow the government to ban them on a federal level, because it's just, I mean, like you said, what's next? And the slippery slope fallacy is not a fallacy at all. It's a real thing. We already have
it is a fallacy, but sometimes it shows that it's true, which is why it's a fallacy. Because
There
people
are
can point to it and
exceptions that
say,
prove the rule,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Hitler in appeasement.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
If you give him Austria, he's just gonna take more. Nah, he's a good guy. He told me he was.
Yeah.
I think you're too trusting, Neville.
I don't know. I think if it's as far as it's applied on a military scale, I mean, the government already has the ability to say to its enlisted men and women, you're not going to have it on your phone, or you're dishonorably discharged, and you can go home. They already have that ability. I mean, heck, if they wanted to make them all grow a ponytail on the top of their forehead or wherever, they could. They're government property. They're stamped. But as far as it applies to the general populace, I mean, technology just in general, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's YouTube, even. I mean, it's a tool that's utilized by people for good and for not so good.
Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you can yield the One Ring?
I fucking love those books.
I mean, that's like, I mean, it's an appropriate euphemism for pretty much anything, really. It really is, because you don't.
Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Just ask Napoleon the Pig.
People, and one of my favorite things about it is that Gandalf is like, hey, I would use this ring with the desire to do good, but through me.
Tempt me, Frodo!
And like, people can make these things with the best of intentions, but they can't foresee the ramifications of such a thing, Yeah. I mean, yeah, thank you for clarifying, because Moss is saying, let's not give them that much power from the American people to where they can ban whatever that find an issue. Yeah, I mean, it's more just like, we know it's like Huck said, or Cody, you both said, they know that they can just do it. It's the public outcry that they don't want. It's the
but they do want it, or they would have banned it already. They do want the public outcry. They want the illusion of a mandate coming from the people that allows them to do it. And it's a small minority of people, but they amplify the voice when it comes to something that maybe other people don't want banned. I don't think anyone is adamantly advocating that TikTok not be banned. I haven't seen that anywhere, at least, but I'm in an echo chamber. What the fuck do I know? But haven't seen anyone being like, I can't believe that the government would try to ban TikTok, because I think most people realize that it is a spying technology for China. But when it comes to something that actually matters in the future, when they try to ban something that no one else wants banned, but they want banned, well, that's when you'll see all the voices of, well, we have to, because it's for your own good. We know what's best for you. So there is that danger.
I have seen quite a bit of outcry on. I don't have a TikTok, but people will post TikToks on Twitter and stuff like that from a lot of the accounts I follow, and there has been quite a bit of outcry specifically on TikTok about them trying to ban TikTok. And of course, these are people who are quote unquote
they
influencers.
Can't talk more than 1 minute about it.
Well, yeah.
I miss Vines.
Yeah. Vines were actually funny.
They were hilarious. They got rid of it. Our own American-made product, and we just traded it in for some Chinese toy.
Well, I think
plastic.
To my knowledge, I think TikTok actually started as it was like a music app, wasn't it? It was like I think it was like a It was called Musically, I think, and I want to say it was a music app like almost like a karaoke type thing.
Yeah, that explains their logo.
Yeah. So, I think that it's almost like they found it by accident, but then once they found it and how big it was and was going to be, it was like, well, we're gonna fucking use this, create a backdoor for the CCP, and the rest is history. I mean, I don't know. There's lots of good arguments for banning it. There's lots of arguments against it. I just am not. I'm not interested in giving my consent. I'll say that much.
Like most of the issues my government goes on and on about constantly, I really don't care either way. The real issues are the things that they don't talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, that's true. So,
The less they talk about it, the less we know about it, the easier it is for them to get away with it.
well, yeah.
Did Trump get arrested on Tuesday?
No. They, the New York district attorney, I forget his name, basically postponed it. They couldn't.
Are they trying to arrest him?
They couldn't get a grand jury to indict him, is what they're saying. They're
Trump
trying.
says they are.
They're
which
trying.
I think is.
Well, the New York district attorney came out and was like, "Hey, yeah, we're going to try to indict him on these charges for campaign finance fraud." But the problem is that, well, one, Trump came out and was like, "Hey, I'm going to get arrested on Tuesday, so watch out for that. Go out and protest." He advocated for protesting again, which is stop, you fucking idiot. But secondly, that I feel like that put a lot of pressure on probably the New York district attorney and maybe the Democratic Party in general. And was like, hey, he got a lot of attention on this. We should probably not do this. And plus, they couldn't get a grand jury to indict him anyway. So, I mean, it just kind of fell apart. As far as last I heard, they were postponing indictment hearings. So, I mean, we'll see. But all I know is he's a free man as it stands right now.
All I know is for the last 5 goddamn years, I've been seeing articles about Trump and crime, arrested. Like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Like, it's there's always the next thing that they're going to do to get Trump. And
well, yeah, but the problem is
the election.
The thing that I don't think or maybe they did think about it, and that's why maybe they put a stop to it, is like, once they actually arrest him, if they were to arrest him, what are they going to run on? That's all they've been running on ever since 2015 is
hopefully something
Trump.
else, and we can just move on to a whole new set of problems.
But it seems like they don't. It seems like they don't have anything else.
Well, the conspiracy part of my mind thought that the overturning of Roe v. Wade was going to be reshaping the Democratic platform, and that they were going to steer away from more of these fringe issues that have kind of divided their own party and focus more on the things that gave them power in the 90s and the 80s. But unfortunately, they're still sticking with the fringe stuff that a lot of people just don't really care about. And somehow they're still winning elections. I don't know how it works, but
it works by ballot harvesting.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier when you have blue area. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is that when you have blue areas with highly concentrated population, it's very easy to go door to door and be like, hey, did you fill out that mail-in ballot that you got sent? Oh, why don't you go ahead and do that? I'll take it with me. Where people who normally would not vote are going to then just fill it out, go straight down the line one way or the other, and give it to the guy, and the guy's going to take it, and it's all going to be counted. And it's legal in these places, and that's the thing. Ballot harvesting, I can't remember how many states it's legal in, but it's legal in quite a few states.
It's illegal or it is legal?
It is legal. It is legal.
Yeah. Well, it's
don't you want more people to vote? I mean,
it should be that easy for everybody to vote. Like, it should be so easy for you to vote and so secure, and it should be something that's really focused on, and every person should get a vote, because that is that's like basic tenets of democracy. We have such an antiquated system that's
Mhm.
so full of holes that now I don't know. We're at a point where nobody trusts.
Well,
anything.
of late
They've
I
done
am
it to themselves.
yeah.
Can't
No
we
one trusts
just
the system because the system's ate itself. I mean,
we just
how
need
can
to
you?
reform some part of the system and then like just come to some kind of like we'll have elections and like just do it like that. Like I
You
don't
want to
know. I'm really
reform the
stoned.
system?
Oh, I
You want to
would.
reform it? Well, then I have a suggestion for you. I have a great idea on how to
I have
reform the
no
system.
power whatsoever to do so, but I guess if I was like granted the power,
My
like I
my
would.
greatest
I would
idea on
change
reforming the system is that reformists like you get out of the way of people like me.
And what are people like you for?
Oh well, we take
In
things
Minecraft.
into our own hands, and yeah,
Yeah.
Minecraft, just get them all, all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It is my firm opinion as of late that maybe not everybody should get a vote. Like I feel like there's a reason why
Hot take.
Hot take,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, there's a reason that people can't vote before they're 18. And it's because, well, one, their frontal lobes are not fully formed, or whatever part of the brain, I forget what it is. But their brains are not fully formed, so they don't know a whole lot of what's going on. They don't pay attention to what's going on, and they have little stake in what's going on. Now, the founding fathers, obviously, they started the whole voting process as like, hey, you had several duties that you had to meet in order to be able to vote, and you had to own land, so you had to have a stake in what you were voting for. You had to have something to lose, which seems to me like a no-brainer. If you're living off the government dime, if you've got 5 kids from a bunch of different dudes, and you're living off a government dime, then voting the system falls apart when you figure out that you can vote yourself more money. And then politicians start promising like, hey, vote for me, you're going to get $1,000 a month for the rest of your life. And then the system is worthless at that point.
It's bread and circuses.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how Joe Biden got in the office, was the promise that he would do away with student debt and that he would issue more stimulus checks.
The problem with
neither of those things have happened.
And cure
taking away
cancer.
some people's votes is that if you give the government the power to take away votes, it will also take away other votes.
Well,
including yours.
What's the difference between like
that is a succession of power from the people?
Saying that you have to meet certain requirements to drive versus saying you have to meet certain requirements to vote. I don't see
because driving is a privilege and voting's
like
right.
It's a right, Like you get to do that just because you're a person. I think
not because you're a person. Whoa!
I'm sorry. Just because
you gotta be
you are
a
citizen of the nation.
Yeah.
All right, because you're a citizen of the nation.
And not a dead one.
But
and that's the hard part.
Yeah, not a dead one. You got to be alive.
Not a dead one, yeah. Just because you are a citizen. Like that is.
Well, okay. So
if that's not the kind of like, that's the one way we can all. How is that not make things better?
They fucked it up whenever they got rid of the actual chads. Now you got these machines doing all the tabulation, and it just creates so much suspicion. Like all it takes is one party to say, I was cheated, and then people are going to be like, yeah, you may have been cheated. Like it's possible that you were cheated. And I'm sure there's tons of voter fraud on both sides of the aisle because if they can do it, why wouldn't they?
It's like insider trading. Like there should be a law that they can't do insider trading like they do, but they all do it.
Yeah,
Senators,
the
families and the people they know, they have the power to change laws. They're going to be able to tell you how things are going to go.
You know what's funny is that
body cams for politicians.
According to, and correct me if I'm wrong, but based on what I'm reading here, the constitutional amendments that grant the right to vote grant rights to vote to everybody but white men.
What?
We got it in the first go, bud.
It wasn't a right; it was a privilege.
Yeah, it was
It
right.
was a right.
Where in the Constitution is it a right to vote? The 15th gave the African American men right to vote in 1817. The 19th Amendment ratified in 1920 gave American women the right to vote. But where does it say that everybody has the right to vote? Because as far as I understand,
Look at the 26th Amendment.
prohibits the states and federal government from using age as a reason for denying the right to vote to citizens of the United States who are at least 18 years old. I mean, I guess it could be interpreted in that way.
The thing is,
The right of citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of age.
But what's crazy to me is that it's not expressly stated that everybody has the right to vote so long as you're 18 until 1971.
Oh yeah, it was all kinds of limited. I mean, back in the day, I thought if you didn't have property, you shouldn't be able to vote, which is kind of an interesting standard. And the founders were probably pretty onto something there, because that brings in the whole you got to have skin in the game kind of thing that you're talking about. But at the same time, they worded it just fine, but they added in that part where blacks were like not voting. So you're going to get a little bit of criticism whenever you word stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I just think that, like I said, if you don't have certain restrictions on what requirements must be met in order to vote, then you're just going to vote to enrich yourself, and that's a big problem.
That's what people have always done. I mean, we built our country after a failed society. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, America the Great, America the Strong. America is a clone of Rome, and Rome fell. About
Rome and the British Empire.
Yeah, and a little bit of Carthage.
Yeah.
A little bit of country, a little bit of rock.
Oh yeah, hell, you're dead on. Most people don't know why they're voting for the people they're voting for, mostly because they were told to, or their neighbors are voting that way, or their pastors voting that way, or the people at their local commune are voting that way. You know, it's.
Well, I feel like most people vote down ballot, and in 2020, I'm guilty of voting down ballot. So 22, I didn't vote down ballot, but 20, I did. Hey, the common nerd. What's up, dog? Well, also, it states in there you can have your rights revoked through due process.
Yeah.
That's it. That's any right, though. I mean, you go to prison, you have no rights.
Yeah. Rights are not really rights. They're just a list of privileges, as the great late Dan Carlin would say, you know, and the list is getting shorter every year. Mm-hmm. And that's why you need a great reset. You just tap that button and you just reset everything, and you feed the tree of liberty with a little bit of blood. And maybe things change, you know, maybe some things change in Minecraft. Yeah.
Interesting, Josh. In the French Revolution, there was a whole thing where they came out with these Bill of Rights and who got the vote and who didn't. And what they did was they split people up into two different types of citizens: active citizens and passive citizens.
Mm-hmm. So active citizens were what? Military.
You got the vote.
Public servants.
You owned enough land. You paid so much money in taxes. You got the right to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know how the other side reacted. They cut all their heads off.
Yeah. Well.
Again.
It sucks to suck, man. Have a stake in what you're voting for.
Or better yet, we don't even have to cut people's heads off. We can just make the law. Pass an amendment to the Constitution that any elected official on a national level, as long as they're winning elections, they're fine. But the moment you get voted out of office, your head comes off.
How's that measurable, though? If voters have to take a test to vote, politicians need to take a test to run. I'm 100% for that. Politicians should take a test to run.
Politicians should be able to run at all.
Is a cat using
you have a litter box in your office there?
Yeah, this is the isolation room for the cats.
Which cat is pooping?
It's Miss Grace.
Miss Grace. Miss Grace the disgrace. Mm-hmm. So you don't have pet names for your pets? You don't talk to them. Do you talk to them in
Frankie,
funny voices?
names.
and Roscoe.
Names for your pets are pet names.
Yeah, but then you have to have like nicknames based on those pet names.
Mm,
Do you ever talk to your pet in a funny voice?
well,
No.
yeah, I do.
There you go.
It
I say,
can't
"What's going
understand
on,
me
baby?
anyway. It doesn't know
What
what I'm
you
saying.
doing?"
It knows its name because it's associated it with food.
You with me? You want a treat? You want a treat?
Yeah.
If my cat sees somebody walk towards the bathroom and they just go Smokey, it's like just shuffles as fast as those three little legs can go.
Cats are weird about bathrooms. Like they want to know what you're doing in there. Like you're building a bomb or something. They're just like, "What are you doing in there? Let me in."
Wow.
I'm pretty sure my dog is secretly a cat because she follows me into the bathroom. Has to know what I'm doing at all times. I mean, it's just like a cat.
Dogs are like that.
See, my cat doesn't follow me anywhere unless I'm going to the bathroom, at which point it's like, "Hey, dude, I see you want some privacy. I want in there."
Now.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. We pick up their shit. So who's pet? Can't vote down ballot anymore. I have certain politicians I just can't vote for. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of single issue voters, but if there's a politician that has a certain issue that they swing wrong on, then I'm not against taking your vote away from that person.
Yeah. The sad thing is that you really don't even have a choice. You're picking one or two.
Yeah.
And the other choice is to not vote, but then you're just, I don't know, sucks.
You're not making a statement by not voting is the thing.
True.
Unless you can get a metric fuckload of people not to vote, then
Well, someone will still get elected is the thing, you know.
well, yeah, that's true. But say if there was a national election and you had 1 million votes, as opposed to 150 million, people are just like, okay, what happened? People are losing faith in the system and things are falling apart. Maybe things would change at that
They're
point.
not going to fucking talk about that. What are you insane? They're going to be like, everything's great. We got in power. We didn't even need all these votes. They wouldn't even bring it up.
The people in power might not, but I mean, clearly the media's got to talk about something.
The only
and
way
regardless of
that
which way they swing, they're
governments
going to talk
have
about it.
types of revolution is from the top down. It's never really from the bottom up. It's never by the people who are in the lowest of classes or the most oppressed. It's always about somebody maybe in the middle or a little bit up tries to shake up the system.
Yeah.
If we do
have
have
to hold sway over people.
a revolution in America, it would probably not be it would be some different kind of revolution. I don't know. Now
hopefully not communist.
Hopefully not. I think communism is just dead. That's why, like, I see people who say they're communist online. I'm like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
No.
You don't know what fucking communism is.
We're a Che Guevara shirt.
We're living in neoliberalism. The fucking wall fell.
Well, there's also that theory too, that Russia and China are just like teaming up again because they're like, hey, remember when we were friends back in the day? You know, we were beating America then. Let's do it again.
Well, I mean, they were talking about Russia was talking about making trade transactions with China in yuan, as opposed
Saudi
to
Arabia's
US dollar.
jumped on board too. I mean, they're talking about selling oil under the yuan or won or however it's pronounced.
Yeah,
and that's going to destabilize the dollar. Hardcore.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking at the beginning of some bad times, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But then again,
I chose the wrong time to get into car sales. I'll tell you that much.
You chose the wrong time to be alive.
Well, yeah, that's true.
We've dealt with one financial collapse when we were getting out of high school. And now we're dealing with another financial collapse when we're entering our top earning years. We'll probably deal with another financial collapse right around the time we're planning on retiring. So
yeah.
We're fucked.
Well, I have a great retirement plan. I play enough guitar in my life. I'm a master world-class master in the next 20 years. And then my retirement years are just spent touring the world, being famous.
You could just be bar famous, dude. It'd be like the background in 5th edition. It'd be like, you know, whatever inn you go to, you can find
What was that
accommodation.
D&D character you had? You said you would be a Hobbit D&D character, but you would use the grand piano for a bard, so you can.
Oh, it was that video that you sent me of that guy who was like 2 feet tall was playing like Mozart or something. I'm like, my question is how does he get his fingers to stretch across the keys like that?
Dude, it's
like,
it's crazy to watch him play. He's like all over the place.
He is everywhere, dude. That was crazy. I love watching little people do big people things. It's funny.
Is it better to know that he's French too?
Is he French?
Yeah.
Speaking of French people and little people in general, I don't think he's French at all. I don't know what it has to do with France. But Peter Dinklage, did you hear about? This is old news, but did you hear about him trying to shut down the Snow White remake by Disney? Yeah. Being like, we don't need to cast little people anymore. It's like, so you made it, and you want to stop everyone from financially competing with you in this market of little people in movies?
He climbed the stepping stool and kicked it out from under him for nobody else to be able to climb.
I think it's better when they use like little people in movies for like fantasy dwarves and stuff.
Well, yeah.
Did you know that E.T. was sometimes played by a boy with no legs?
What?
The puppet was controlled by a boy with no legs. He's born with no legs.
What, was he just hopping, or is he just hopping on stumps, or what?
Yeah.
That's That's crazy. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of filmmaking, I did see an article actually, and in the hopes of shutting down Rings of Power, a horse died on the set not that long ago. It was like just the other day. Horse died because they were rehearsing a cavalry charge, and a horse had a heart attack, cardiac arrest, and died. And
say his name.
Whose name?
The horse.
The horse?
Say its name.
Hey, the horse.
I can find it.
Hashtag say his name.
Say his name. Horses are gentle beasts and bullshit. I don't think that happened on the set of, the other Lord of the Rings.
No.
Hale, I agree with you.
There it is.
Oh, I'm not even looking at the comments. Oh my gosh, we have so many.
Yeah.
What's up,
That's what I've been
Helen?
pulling up this whole time. After the 2020 election, a lot of people lost faith in the voting system, but I feel like 2024 will be the last straw for American voting. Yes, I agree.
If it's not, we're fucked.
Yeah. So PETA, instead of wanting to shut down the atrocity that is the Rings of Power, they just call for the use of CGI animals, which is great. Because we all know how good CGI is nowadays.
Dude, yeah, have you seen Narnia?
I thought that lion was real. It looks so real.
God,
yeah, like Lion
bad.
King when they talk.
Well, no, that was phenomenal compared to what we have now. Have you seen the even just the most recent like big budget Marvel movies have shit CGI because it's all rushed out and with no talent people.
Fuck you! You'll watch it. Buy it.
I know
fucking bitch.
You want your
Marvel movie? I haven't watched a
Plus
Marvel movie. I haven't watched a Marvel movie since I watched Spider-Man No Way Home, and then prior to that, I hadn't watched one since Endgame, Avengers Endgame. Because they all suck. They're terrible. I hate them.
I lost interest after Endgame.
Yeah, I mean, and I didn't think Endgame was really even that good.
Yeah, but it was, like satisfying and like, oh, okay, there's a reference sort of way. Yeah. But after that, it's just like, that the best Marvel movies are still like the first ones because they're better movies.
Yeah,
they keep remaking their damn movies and it's just not, I don't know, not compelling.
Fingers crossed Disney will have to sell those properties off.
Yeah,
they've ruined every property that they bought. We didn't know at first when they were buying Star Wars. We thought, well, maybe it's a good thing because maybe the Star Wars movies will be really great and fun or at least decent. And all the Star Wars stuff sucks.
It's all
There's
about
a
that
couple of them
ESG
that's
score.
okay, but
Yeah.
You got to have all the things that make movies so profitable. You got to
So you
have
can
that
sell 'em to
ESG
China.
score there, and then when your company fails, BlackRock will just buy you out like they did in 2028 or
Mhm.
2028, 2008, and then they'll have another asset.
Mhm.
Do whatever they want with it, even though they fund coal mining and fossil fuels, but they're green. Don't worry, they love you.
They only want what's best for you.
Disney says they care about gay people, but they don't care about all of those Muslims that were like put to death in those work camps in China where they filmed the Mulan movie.
In
No.
fact, they'll come out so far as to thank them for providing security. Thank you,
Hiring an
CCP in the
actress that
Xinjiang province for
is
providing
against
security.
free Hong Kong. That's why I don't like playing Diablo anymore and acting in it, because all the shit they did for China pissed me off. That's a good, yeah.
I agree, Hale. Yes, it is equivalent of a failed orgasm. It's not even edging because edging can lead to a better one. But no, this is like blue balls.
I've already watched all these porn videos.
Hey, I've got a couple that I'll go back
Ooh, I
to every
can't say
once in
that.
a while.
Some
Corn.
fond memories.
Corn videos.
Corn.
Corn?
Corn.
Corn.
All right. Inside joke. YouTube viewers wouldn't get it.
You get it now.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of things you two say that I don't think a lot of YouTube viewers would get.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But
Maybe
All
in
the original
time,
content.
maybe
you keep
in
coming
time,
back
yeah.
and watching, you might find something.
Yeah. Oh God. That's the only thing I would want Galadriel to do is ride me. That's the only thing she's good for. Ew. But that, I mean, really,
She just
that
looked pissed off and mad at you the entire time.
that would suck if it was Galadriel's horse. Because look at that. I mean, it's a beautiful horse, and so is Elendil's horse there. I mean, beautiful horses, and it sucks that a horse died, but just cancel the fucking show already.
What sucks is how
There's
all
enough
these
blood
live
on their
action
hands.
things are getting worse and worse and worse, and they continue to cancel cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at like what Peter Jackson did with Lord of the Rings. Like a lot of that was not special effects. A lot of it was costumes, the intricacies on the suits of armor, makeup, special effects as they were referred to in the 80s and the 90s, but not CGI. And it looked like shit in The Hobbit. It's fucking terrible.
It did. Yeah. Well, I mean, even the weapons and armor and stuff on the cast were handmade in The Hobbit, but in the Lord of the Rings, I mean, they had two people there that their job was to sit there all day and take these little plastic rings and make chainmail, and that's what they did, like all day, every day.
Yeah, they wore their fingerprints off.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy the amount of armor, custom sets of armor, that were made for those movies, and even just like little pieces of clothing. I think it was Hugo Weaving was talking about one of his costumes whenever they were at the Council of Elrond in the first one, and he was just like looking inside of his whatever tunic or whatever, and there were like little intricate designs on the inside, and he was like, "What's this?" It's like, what's all this for? He's like, "Well, it just helps with immersion. Like if you feel like you're in a good costume, if you feel like you're in those clothes, you become that character." And that just shows the amount of attention to detail that they had. And furthermore, they did that on, how many millions of dollar budget less than what the Rings of Power has done it with?
But they were able to cast such a great boss bitch for Galadriel. So
yeah, good for them.
That's where the money went. It didn't go overseas or anything.
Money wasted. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I feel like the Rings of Power was a money laundering scheme because I do not see where all that money went. I don't see
into the pockets of people who just so happened to give it good reviews.
Yeah, exactly. Rotten Tomatoes.
They didn't put any money. They didn't set any money aside to give the Academy any bribes like other filmmakers do because they didn't get a single fucking nomination, and that's funny.
Yep. I think. Well, so I know they didn't win any Golden Globes.
Did they get a nomination? I didn't think they did.
I don't think so. No. One award show offered the guy who played a Ron Deer an award, and I can't remember. I think it was a diversity award.
So participation trophy.
Pretty much.
That's got to be so degrading. I would hate to be a person of color, and the only award I'm getting nominated for is because I'm a person of color. Like, not my acting chops, not my merit.
Oh, they won. Let's see, from the Art Directors Guild. They won excellence in production design. Whatever.
They were able to use Blender to make a lot of CGI backgrounds. Good for them.
Yeah, but they were a nominee.
Movie awards are like stupid.
Well, yeah, that's why nobody watches them anymore.
Ricky Gervais did a great job though at the Golden Globes that one year.
Oh yeah, that was the last year that they actually had decent numbers, and ever since then, ever since his speech was unacceptable to the elite, then they had to get boring guys. But Chris Rock getting slapped, that was a ratings booster,
and probably staged.
Well, that maybe, yeah, probably. But what is that noise now? What is going on?
Dude, I bet your cat likes that.
They are terrified of this. I bought this for $8. It was the worst $8 I've ever spent.
My cats
do not buy the fish toys. They do not like them.
There was this mouse that we had that chirped like tweet, 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 tweet. Cat loved it, would play with it all the time, and it was so annoying because it was always going off. Eventually, we thought the battery was dying, but it still hasn't died all the way. So now it's like tweet, tweet, tweet. The cat's
pull the plug, man. You got to pull the plug.
He loves it.
He'll love it when it's dead. All right, fellas, we've been going for almost 2.5 hours. How do you feel?
A little hungry.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, I think that this is a good place to cut it. We actually went a little long this week. Chances are, as we go on, it'll probably get longer and longer and longer. So we'll just see. It'll probably turn into one of those shows that's just like 6 hours, and we'll just end when everybody falls asleep. So anyway, I will go ahead. Do either of you, Cody, do you have anything you want to plug?
Don't vote.
Don't vote.
Yeah, just don't.
Don't vote. All right. Huck,
vote.
Do you
vote? For the love of God, vote.
My name is Moss, and I don't care. So you can follow me on YouTube at this channel, youtube.com/@Moss513. You can follow me on Twitter @MossMuff, and you can catch me on the Common Nerds channel on Wednesday nights. I come in late, but I'll be on there most Wednesday nights, and on Thursday nights on Geeks and Gamers Tabletop playing Starfinder. So until next week, guys, have a good one.